Chapter 1337. Wah, wah, wah. Inside the 100 Saints Martial Hall, all the geniuses were in an uproar. Seeing Lin Feng defeat Prince Yushu cleanly, everyone's emotions were ignited. The suppressed energy in their hearts erupted like a volcano. Everyone looked down on Lin Feng and the 100 Saints Martial Hall. They said that the 100 Saints Martial Hall was old and had not produced any good seedlings in the past few batches. The top 3 places had always been empty. Although there were many people in the top 100, their combat strength was average, and there were no outstanding geniuses. Now, Lin Feng's appearance was a heavy slap to the faces of those who looked down on the 100 Saints Martial Hall. The 100 Saints Martial Hall was still the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. Not only did they have the strongest saints, but they also had the best nebula-grade geniuses. Well done. Lin Feng is amazing. Learn from Lin Feng. I want to be the champion of the Silver Heart class. So what if he's a prince? So what if he has a top-grade Chaos Hole Dark Treasure? We have a real deal. We don't need to rely on treasures. Well said. This is the strength of our 100 Saints Martial Hall. Although most of the saints and sacred kings of the 100 Saints Martial Hall had entered the ancient Myriad World's secret domain, there was still a wave of excitement. Lin Feng's victory had earned him a sense of honor and was the pride of the 100 Saints Martial Hall. The audience applauded enthusiastically. Although most of them supported Prince Yushu, this was a battle worthy of praise. Lin Feng had defeated Prince Yushu head-on. He had won fair and square. St. Yuluan soon announced the result, and the atmosphere was jubilant. Lin Feng and Prince Yushu walked down from the arena. Qin Qing, who was wearing a white dress, was waiting for them. Her watery eyes seemed to be able to speak. She raised her arm and extended her white wrist, saying, "Congratulations, Mr. Lin." "Thank you." Lin Feng reached out to shake her hand. Qin Qing smiled. "Qing looks forward to fighting you in 10 years. Me too." Lin Feng's eyes landed on the palm-sized, flawless face. He was unable to see any emotion in Qin Qing's eyes, but it was enough to see her confidence, as there would be another duel in 5 years. It was a duel between Prince Yushu and Qin Qing. "You don't put me in your eyes, do you?" Prince Yushu smiled bitterly. Qin Qing smiled and said, "I wouldn't dare. Is there anything you don't dare to do?" Prince Yushu rolled his eyes. He had a good relationship with Qin Qing, so he could say anything. "I think I should give up after 5 years." Qin Qing was not surprised. It's okay for the crown prince to do so. Prince Yushu's lips twitched. He pretended to be angry and looked at Lin Feng. "Look, she doesn't even put me in her eyes. I'll leave the task of breaking her spirit to you, Brother Lin." Qin Qing covered her mouth and smiled. She was as beautiful as a blooming peony, which stunned everyone around her. Lin Feng was also surprised, but then he smiled and said, "I hope I can do it." These words not only stunned Prince Yushu, but also made Qin Qing's smile freeze. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Lin Feng, and her beautiful body slightly bowed. "Qing, I'm looking forward to that battle." Having said that, Qin Qing bowed to Prince Yushu and left. The atmosphere was a bit tense. "You angered her," Prince Yushu said. "I know." Lin Feng was calm. Prince Yushu said, "Oh, you mean it?" Lin Feng shook his head and looked at Prince Yushu. "I just want to give myself some motivation or pressure." Looking at Qin Qing's beautiful back, Lin Feng's eyes showed his desire to fight. 10 years later, I want to beat her. Since he had come this far, he wanted to reach the highest level. No matter who the opponent was, no matter how strong they were, he wanted to win. A martial artist should have the heart to challenge others. Prince Yushu teased, "Look, you don't admit it, but your heart betrayed you." "Betrayed what?" Lin Feng was puzzled. Prince Yushu squinted his eyes and said, "I see through you. You are very lustful. I told you last time that if you beat Qin Qing, you could make her marry you. It seems that you really care about her." Lin Feng was speechless. The first battle of the 3-grade battle ended quickly. The second battle was held 5 years later. It was between Prince Yushu and Qin Qing. This battle attracted a lot of attention, especially because the two contestants were very special. One of them was a dragon among men. The other one was a phoenix among men. The battle between a dragon and a phoenix was very attractive. The result was not surprising. Qin Xing defeated Prince Yushu without a single injury. Most people did not even see how Qin Xing won before the fight was over. She was too strong. Qin Xing's strength was far beyond Prince Yushu's. Lin Feng did not go to the venue. Instead, he watched the live broadcast on the Milky Way darknet. The difference was not that big. He went to the venue to feel the atmosphere. Watching the live broadcast was better. It is indeed the Heavenly Path sword art. Lin Feng was shocked. Qin Xing's Heavenly Path sword art was very strong. The Heavenly Path sword art was extremely fast. With the help of her sword heart and the Heavenly Path of the sword, she completely crushed Prince Yushu. The latter did not even have a chance to fight back. The gap between their realms was too big. My Sky Blade Saber art is stronger than her sword art, but my realm is not as good as hers. Unless I can comprehend the third move of the Thunder Beast Blade art, my attack power will be weaker than hers. Lin Feng carefully analyzed the gap between his strength and Qin Xing's. Basically, realms were more important than moves. The Heavenly Path of the sword and the Heavenly Path of the saber might seem like the same level, but there was a fundamental difference. With the enhancement of the Heavenly Path of the sword and the Heavenly Path of the saber, the gap was widened. My body is stronger, but Qin Xing's weapon is better. Lin Feng was helpless. Although the 7 blue battle saber was compatible with him, it was not able to unleash its full power. Qin Xing's sword was different. It was also a powerful chaotic dark treasure, but it was perfectly compatible with her. It could unleash a power that was not inferior to Prince Yushu's heavenly ruler. As for the comprehension of Tao, I am not as good as her. Lin Feng pursed his lips and pondered. Just like what Prince Yushu said, she was a perfect fairy. It would be difficult to defeat her at the same level. With only 5 years left, it would be even more difficult to find a way to defeat Qin Xing. However, this only made his fighting spirit higher. Lin Feng wanted to win this battle very much. There are still 5 years left. There must be a way. The thunder element on the 7 blue battle saber in Lin Feng's hand surged. It seemed to have felt its master's fighting spirit and was greatly encouraged. Weapons had spirits. The 7 blue battle saber was also a powerful chaotic dark treasure. At this moment, young master, a guest has arrived. The white commander's figure flashed and reported respectfully. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. The white commander should know that he did not receive guests when he was cultivating. Haha, there is no need to report. I will come in myself. A hearty laugh came from afar. Lin Feng heard the voice and could not help but laugh. Chapter 1338. It was Prince Yushu who had just finished his battle. Lin Feng recognized Prince Yushu's voice, but he did not expect him to come to him as soon as he finished his battle. He was wearing silver armor, and his slender figure had an elegant temperament. He came with a smile. Prince. Lin Feng smiled and greeted him. You didn't expect me to come, did you? Prince Yushu smiled. He was very friendly. Lin Feng nodded and said, Didn't you just finish your battle? Prince Yushu shrugged and said, What kind of battle was that? I was abused. Compared to Qing, my strength is worlds apart. You are exaggerating, Lin Feng said. Not at all. Prince Yushu sighed and said, I understand that there are so-called geniuses in this world. Mortals can achieve something if they work hard for a lifetime, but some geniuses are just as hardworking. Innate deficiencies may not be made up after birth. Lin Feng sighed. Although he did not agree with Prince Yushu's point of view, he did not refute it. He believed that as long as mortals were willing to work hard, opportunities would come. Nothing was absolute. However, Prince Yushu's words were more emotional. Lin Feng mocked him and said, You didn't come here to say this to me, did you? Do you want me, a mortal, to give up the battle with geniuses? No. Prince Yushu shook his head. Brother Lin, you're different from me. I am a genius that was created through the accumulation of the imperial family's resources. However, Brother Lin, you are a genuine genius. Your talent is comparable to Qin Xing's, Prince Yushu said. Lin Feng shook his head and said, "You think too highly of me, Prince. I'm not exaggerating at all. Although my talent for martial arts is average, I am very good at judging people. I will never be wrong." Prince Yushu said seriously, "To be honest, I have never taken the initiative to recruit a talent. You're the first, because I have a feeling that Brother Lin will definitely be able to help me ascend to the throne in the future." Lin Feng smiled and said, "You are honest, Prince, but I am afraid that I am not strong enough to help." Prince Yushu laughed and said, "Brother Lin, you do not have to belittle yourself. Whether you are right or not will be judged in the future. In fact, I am here to tell you the information about Qing, so that you can have a better chance of winning." Prince paused and nodded. "Defeat her and marry her." Lin Feng was speechless. He had never meant to do that, but he was curious about the prince's words. Lin Feng was curious. Prince Yushu raised his eyebrows. Then he began to talk nonstop. A black demon skull appeared in Prince Yushu's hand. As soon as he took it out, it revealed a shocking dark power. Lin Feng's eyes widened. An extremely demonic and terrifying power seemed to surge out of his heart, forming the image of a demon in his mind. Bang! Lin Feng stared at the black demon skull. His heart was beating fast. Pa! Prince Yushu clapped his hands. Lin Feng suddenly woke up and looked at Prince Yushu. The latter revealed a smile and said, "Great! Brother Lin and this powerful chaos whole mystic treasure can indeed sense each other. It is very strong." Lin Feng did not hide it. "The heavens are helping me." Prince Yushu raised the black demon skull and said, "To be honest, Brother Lin, I am here to give you a treasure." "Give you a treasure?" Lin Feng was stunned. "Brother Lin, you haven't forgotten our bet, have you?" Prince Yushu smiled. Lin Feng came to a sudden realization and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I don't think I made the bet, right?" "We did." Prince Yushu nodded and did not give Lin Feng a chance to retort. He stuffed the black demon skull into Lin Feng's hand and said, "I am a prince. How can I lie to you? This nightmare skull is the bet. Keep it well. I don't owe you anything now." Prince Yushu clapped his hands and grinned. "Use it well. Not only can it provide you with strong combat strength, but it can also make Qing suffer. Hee. 5 years later, you must avenge me." After saying that, Prince Yushu left without waiting for Lin Feng's reply. Lin Feng was left holding the nightmare skull and smiling helplessly. Prince Yushu was indeed a good person. Even though Lin Feng knew that he was trying to win him over, it was hard to refuse. It was even harder to hate him. Prince Yushu was right about one thing. Everyone had their own specialties. "I owe you a favor." Lin Feng was not an inflexible person. Since they were interested in each other, he did not mind being won over by Prince Yushu. The nightmare skull. Lin Feng could feel an extremely cold aura from this black demon skull. It resonated with his own dark demon aura, surging and surging. The dark demonic way was very dangerous. Practicing it might affect one's mind and be devoured by the power of the dark demonic way. However, Lin Feng was not afraid, since he was not sure that he could defeat Qing. Even if he practiced it for another 5 years, he might as well try Prince Yushu's method. Lin Feng did as he thought. He cut his hand and blood fell on the black demon skull. In an instant, whoosh, the pair of abyss devil eyes on the abyss devil skull lit up. The horrible dark demonic aura enveloped Lin Feng. His eyes turned dark red. He was immersed in the dark demonic aura. The horrible power was awakened. The powerful chaotic whole treasure had begun to recognize its master. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. In the fairy Luo palace, Qing was not complacent. She continued to practice her swordsmanship and the newly comprehended heavenly way of sword. She had never been defeated since her debut. She was a legend among the younger generation of the Dongwang Empire. It was not a rumor that she would marry someone who defeated Qing. It was a rule set by Yuningfan, the palace master of the fairy Luo palace. Her purpose was to force Qing to practice to the best of her ability. It was a clever move. If someone of the same age could defeat the gifted Qing, how powerful would that person be? Qing could marry someone who was more powerful. It was killing two birds with one stone. However, no one the same age as her had ever done it. Until now, Qin Xing had already accepted the rules set by the palace master. Just as Lin Feng had said, she seemed to be approachable, but she had a proud heart. She hoped that her future husband would be stronger than her. Otherwise, how could he conquer her? Master, I will win the Dongwang Genius Battle to repay you for raising me and teaching me. I will make the fairy Luo Palace famous. Qin Xing bowed slightly. In her eyes, there was a strong, heavenly wave of sword. She was invincible. In the past 10 years, Qin Xing had made great progress. Go ahead. I believe that no one can defeat my good disciple. Palace Master Yuning Fan smiled confidently. She could not think of anyone of the same age in the Dongwang Empire who could defeat Qin Xing. Such a genius had not been born yet. Chapter 1339. It's about time. Lin Feng got up and left the Crane Saint Planet number 5. The nightmare skull in his hand glowed and disappeared along with the blood red in Lin Feng's eyes. With its help, I may be weaker than Qin Xing, but I may be able to fight her. In the past 5 years, Lin Feng had spent at least half of his time on the nightmare skull, and he had achieved remarkable results. Compared with 10 years ago, his combat strength had improved greatly. I'll do my best and leave no regrets. Lin Feng knew clearly that this would be his last battle as a Silver Core. He was not far from reaching the mind distance requirement of the Silver Core. He would be able to break through within 100 years. The capital of the empire was crowded with people. The arena was full early in the morning. The last battle of the Dongwang Genius Contest was between Qin Xing, the favorite champion, and Lin Feng, the dark horse. Everyone was looking forward to it. Qin Xing, goddess. Qin Xing, Qin Xing. Voice was very loud. Even when Qin Xing fought with Prince Yushu 5 years ago, it was a one-sided victory, not to mention Lin Feng, who was unknown. Although the 100 Saints Martial Temple was powerful, its power in the Dongwang Empire was ordinary. After all, the 100 Saints Martial Temple had high requirements for its disciples. But that was also the smart part of the 100 Saints Martial Temple. They did not compete with the royal family and worked hard to develop themselves. The saints and saint kings were the top decision-makers in the Milky Way. But this time, Lin Feng, come on. Mary Qin Xing. In the corner of the auditorium, there was a sudden sound of disharmony. The disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Temple came spontaneously to cheer for Lin Feng. They even pulled up a huge banner, which glittered with fluorescent lights. There was even a picture of the two of them together, which made Qin Xing's fans so angry that their faces and necks turned red. However, when they saw the symbols of the forces these warriors belonged to, they all swallowed a mouthful of blood and did not dare to act rashly. No one dared to offend the 100 Saints Martial Temple. Lin Feng raised his head and looked into the distance of the audience. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect that these disciples, whom he had never met before, would come all the way here to cheer for him. Warmth flowed through his heart. It had been half a year since he joined the 100 Saints Martial Palace, and this place truly felt like home. Although not many people had come, he had received their goodwill. On the other side, Qin Xing, who was wearing a white dress, stood with her head held high. Her delicate neck lifted slightly as she looked at the huge banner. Her beautiful face looked calm, but a glint flashed across her beautiful eyes. Good. This banner is well done. That's amazing. Only Prince Yushu dared to say this. Clapping his hands, Prince Yushu walked towards Lin Feng with a smile on his face. Well done, Brother Lin. That's what you need. Qin Xing is nothing. Beat her and marry her. On the other side, Qin Xing's face suddenly froze, and her cherry lips pursed. Your Highness, you should know that I have no such intentions, Lin Feng said hastily. What? Prince Yushu pretended to be shocked as he stared at Lin Feng. Brother Lin, you only want to defeat Qin Xing and not marry her? This is too cruel. Lin Feng wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. If he continued, it would only make things worse. He glanced at Qin Qing, whose face had already turned cold. Don't talk nonsense. Let's see who's stronger in the duel. Qin Qing, voice floated over with a hint of firmness and anger. After all, she was a girl. Lin Feng looked over and saw Qin Qing, back facing him. She was obviously angry. He then looked at Prince Yushu, who had a gentle smile on his face. He shrugged his shoulders and pretended to be innocent. Your Highness, you did it on purpose. Lin Feng immediately understood. What on purpose? I don't understand. Prince Yushu continued to play dumb. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. On the one hand, Prince Yushu wanted to stimulate his fighting spirit. On the other hand, he wanted to force Qin Qing, to lose her mind. It was a good plan. Although it didn't work on him, on Qin Qing, side, the effect was very obvious. It was up to him. Soon, Monarch Qin Wushu went up to the stage and said a few words as usual. On the other side, Dongwang Gambling had entered the final stage. Qin Qing, winning odds had increased from 1.02 to 1.04. It had increased a lot. It meant that the warriors who bet on Lin Feng's victory had increased a lot during this time. Most of them were the geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Palace. At this time, the disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Palace who hadn't bought the tickets were waiting on the intranet with their eyes wide open and their breaths held. It was about glory. It was about the money in their pockets. God bless. Lin Feng must win. I bet all my money on him. If I lose, I won't even have my pants left tomorrow. It's 1 to 10. If I win this time, I'll be rich. Geniuses were always capricious. Under everyone's expectant eyes, Lin Feng and Qin Qing went up to the stage. Yuluan Saint looked at them with relief. He had thought highly of Lin Feng before, but he didn't expect that he could really make it this far. As for Qin Qing, her strength had long been recognized. Are the two of you ready? Yuluan Saint confirmed once again. Yes. Lin Feng and Qin Qing said almost at the same time. Yuluan Saint nodded. At this time, the audience was holding their breath. Pairs of eyes were fixed on the arena, waiting for the flames of war to ignite. Boom! With Yuluan Saint's order, the battle for the champion of the Dongwang Genius Battle officially began. Sabers and swords were unsheathed at the same time. Thunder Beast Saber Technique versus Thousand Layer White Lotus. In the void, a ferocious giant thunder beast appeared. Compared to the one that Lin Feng had displayed before, not only was its form and spirit more impressive, but its body was also much larger. The moment it attacked, it was infused with the heavenly way of the saber, and its power was unparalleled. On the other side, layers of white lotuses bloomed. Qin Qing, face was as cold as frost, and her sword technique was not careless at all. Originally, she had a good impression of Lin Feng, but now it was different. She hated those flirtatious playboys the most. In Qin Qing's opinion, strength was gained through fighting, not through bragging. The sword technique at the limit of the 11th level instantly bloomed white lotuses. Each white lotus was like a sword world, swallowing the thunder unicorn in the void like a whirlpool. In terms of the control of the sword heart, Qin Qing, was obviously stronger. The momentum in the void collided. The thunder unicorn was directly wrapped by the white lotuses, shrouded and swallowed in an instant. However, the arena was filled with thunder and lightning. Lin Feng's attack was extremely powerful. Suddenly, bang, bang, the white lotuses were shattered. Although the thunder unicorn's momentum was not enough, it was extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, they had already exchanged 10 moves. The audience was stunned and didn't even dare to breathe. The strength of the two was far beyond imagination. Was this a joke? Was this a battle between Silver Core level experts? Even a battle between top Silver Core level experts was nothing more than this. Chapter 1340. Great! Monarch Qin Wushu stood up and applauded. His dignified eyes shone brightly as he stood up, emitting the aura of an emperor. With his eyes and experience, he naturally took an entire battle just now and was very satisfied. As a monarch, how could he not be excited to see two peerless geniuses in the Dongwang Empire? No matter who won, it didn't matter to Qin Wushou. What mattered was that they were the geniuses of the Dongwang Empire. Qin Qing or Lin Feng. Monarch Qin Wushou laughed heartily. He hadn't been so happy for a long time. Although they were only at the silver core level, their combat power was comparable to a saint. Both of them had comprehended a bit of the way of heaven. Not only that, they had mastered the way of heaven's sword and way of heaven blade. Even the silver core level, they were at the top level. With Monarch Qin Wushou's praise, the entire audience was excited. It was so cool to see such a duel with their own eyes. Qin Qing, you must win. Don't lose to Lin Feng. Use your unique skill and defeat him. In the audience, cheers and shouts came one after another. The geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Palace didn't want to be left behind. The huge banner lit up again. Lin Feng is the best. Defeat Qin Qing, and marry her. Yeah. At this moment, the two were fighting fiercely in the duel field. It looked like they were evenly matched, but that was not the case. Lin Feng had already tried his best, while Qin Qing was still at ease. Qin Qing's white jade turned into a dancing butterfly, and many white lotuses surrounded Lin Feng. Her sword heart was only one level stronger than Lin Feng's. However, when combined with the way of sword, the gap between them widened. If Qin Qing didn't want to fight with Lin Feng face to face, she would have won already. His body is like the demon with the strongest bloodline. After the real battle, Qin Qing realized that she couldn't underestimate Lin Feng. She would definitely be injured if she fought with him face to face. It seems that I have to use my real strength to defeat him. Qin Qing's body shone with white light, and a mark appeared on her holy face. It was her bloodline, the 1,000 light marrow. Because of her powerful bloodline, Qin Qing was able to achieve twice the result with half the effort in both battle and cultivation. 10,000 light marrow, one of the top bloodlines in the Milky Way. Only black hole level great beings were capable of resonating with the heavens and earth and bringing down the origin sea. However, Qin Qing already had it when she was born. As her powers grew, so did the origin sea in her body. If a cosmic system state martial artist cultivated one of the origin laws to the extreme, they would be recognized by the origin laws and be granted access to the origin sea. Possessing an origin sea was the foundation of being able to use origin source laws. Qin Qing couldn't use the origin law now, but the power of the origin sea was far beyond that of a cosmic system state. 6 starlight ring profound meaning, U-formation. Qin Qing's body was covered with dense light energy. Rings of light spread out and broke Lin Feng's soul realm. Rings of light appeared on the ground and restricted Lin Feng greatly. Qin Qing's light ring, and brilliant ring were all at the extreme 6th level, the extreme limit of the silver core level. Seeing Qin Qing releasing her bloodline power, the audience roared in excitement. They knew what it meant. Lin Feng would soon be in a hopeless situation and would be defeated by Qin Qing easily. Even so, Lin Feng was already very honored. In the entire Milky Way, there weren't many silver core great beings who could force Qin Qing to use her bloodline power. It's here indeed. Lin Feng was not surprised. With Prince Yushu, the secret teller, Lin Feng already knew about Qin Qing's talent ability. The Nightmare Skull was prepared for this. The Dark Devil's skull shook. Lin Feng's eyes widened. His whole body was covered with a dark energy. Driven by the Dark Devil path, Lin Feng's body turned into a thick darkness. A giant devil figure rose behind him. It was the enemy of light. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Lin Feng's body suddenly expanded, showing a trace of horror. The power of the heaven hatred form increased again. The Nightmare Skull had the power of the Dark Devil path, which could counter Qin Qing. This was a powerful, chaotic whole dark treasure. The moment the perfectly compatible chaos whole dark treasure appeared, everyone was shocked. The vigorous dark demonic power broke Qin Qing's 6 stars formation right away. Lin Feng's physical strength skyrocketed, and even his speed increased drastically. Strength and speed combined perfectly. At the same time that Lin Feng broke the jade formation, he had already brandished his blade to attack. Although his eyes revealed a blood-red light, with Lin Feng's willpower, his mind was not affected in the slightest. On the contrary, he was able to freely control the violent qi of the dark demon force. Qin Xing was caught off guard. However, she was indeed impressive. White lotuses bloomed one after another, retreating from offense to defense, not revealing the slightest flaw. The powerful bloodline of myriad light marrow condensed rays of sword qi of light, directly attacking Lin Feng. The light marrow could not only increase Qin Xing's battle strength, but could also help her comprehend profound meanings more effectively. Others needed to connect their consciousness to the origin C to cultivate, but Qin Xing had the origin C in her body. The gap between them was naturally huge. Lin Feng used the Nightmare Skull's power to its fullest, but the Nightmare Skull was only a support-type treasure after all. It didn't have any attacking power, and the Dark Devil power couldn't affect Qin Xing, who had a firm Dao heart. As Qin Xing gradually calmed down, the scales started to tilt towards her. Powerful indeed, Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. His attacks were blocked again and again. Qin Xing, his strength made him full of fighting spirit. He did not want to lose this battle. Whoosh, whoosh. The blood-red light in Lin Feng's eyes became deeper and deeper. His consciousness was completely immersed in the power of the Nightmare Skull. Lin Feng pursed his lips. The fierce battle made him more immersed in the Dark Devil path. Again and again. In the Origin Star realm, Lin Feng's dark heart kept expanding. His comprehension of the Dark Devil path was like seeing a new world. As Lin Feng continued to comprehend in the battle, the ferocious image of the devil became clearer and clearer. All of a sudden, Lin Feng's body shook violently. Roar! After being stabbed by Qin Xing, the Dark Devil path blood was stimulated. Lin Feng's eyes turned red. The raging power in his body condensed, and a terrifying aura spread. At this moment, Lin Feng understood. His 100 years of cultivation were fully unleashed at this moment. The blood in his body seemed to be boiling. As the Dark Devil path cultivation reached the 6th level, the Origin Star realm changed dramatically and entered the Silver Heart level. Lin Feng's body improved again. Roar! The golden dragon rose into the sky. The moment he broke through to the Silver Heart level, Lin Feng's hateful sky form was perfectly upgraded. It transformed from the first form to the second form. His power suddenly increased. Chapter 1341. A breakthrough in the middle of a battle? All the saints felt it. Qin Wushou had already stood up, his eyes shining. Normally, it was impossible to make a breakthrough in the middle of the battle, so there was no rule in the Dongwang Genius battle. Moreover, a breakthrough in strength needed time to settle. For example, the light heart and the dark heart couldn't be achieved overnight. It would take at least hundreds of years of cultivation to expand. It was the same in the Origin Star realm. The instantaneous increase in strength was at most a sensory enhancement. The elevation of life level and heart cultivation was of little help to one's combat strength. Lin Feng was the same. After reaching the Silver Heart level, his increase in strength came from the improvement of his cultivation of the way of the Dark Devil, which led to the transformation of the Hateful Heaven form. The second form of the Hateful Heaven. At this time, Lin Feng seemed to have turned into the Hateful Heaven demon. His amazing body increased again, breaking the rules. With the help of the golden body of the true dragon, Lin Feng's physical strength was top-notch even among the saints. Breaking through the way with strength, Qin Xing frowned slightly and immediately fell into a passive position. She was strong at the peak of the 11th level of the Heart of the Sword, but the power of her moves was not as strong as Lin Feng's. Her body was weaker, but the combination of the powerful chaotic whole dark treasure and the weapon could make up for it. Her comprehension of the way and the power of her bloodline made her a complete victory. But now, Lin Feng's body became stronger, which led to the power of the 7 blue saber. It reversed the situation and suppressed Qin Xing. As a powerful, chaotic whole dark treasure, The nightmare skull exhausted Qin Qing's advantage in comprehension of the way. 100 Lotus Bloom. Qin Qing's beautiful face was very serious. The holy light shrouded the area, and the white lotuses bloomed one after another. The essence of the heavenly way sword technique was revealed at this moment. The light marrow bloodline enveloped the 100 white lotuses, further increasing the power of the heavenly way sword technique. The arena turned into a lotus pond, beautiful beyond compare. Right at this moment, a terrifying lightning unicorn that was covered in lightning charged in and broke this silence. Howl! The roar was like thunder, and the rolling thunder and lightning collided with the beautiful white lotuses. Beams of cold light pierced through the lotus pond. Lin Feng's eyes were burning red. The second form of the hateful heaven and the thunder unicorn combined perfectly. Mind and spirit as one. Lin Feng had found the vague concept of the thunder bee stone sculpture and understood a part of its essence. Although he was still unable to understand the third move, it was enough to greatly increase the power of the thunder bee saber technique. The first and second moves were a perfect combination. In the first place, the lightning beast attacks shouldn't be separated. Instead, they should complement each other. Lin Feng's overbearing aura combined with his indestructible claws made him look like a ferocious beast. He attacked again and again, which frightened Qin Qing more and more. The White Lotus Pond was in danger. I will not lose. Qin Qing, her beautiful face was filled with stubbornness. She did not believe that she would lose. Since her debut, she had been the brightest star and the greatest genius of the Dongwang Empire. Every time the royal family selected her, she was the brightest one. But now, boom. Lin Feng's earth-shattering saber attack shattered all of Qin Qing's pride. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes, which were as clear as water, were filled with shock, unwillingness, and disappointment. In the end, Qin Qing's sword technique was defeated by Lin Feng's blade technique. Her white dress fluttered in the air, and Qin Qing's beautiful face lost its color. She had lost. At the last moment, Lin Feng's saber heart crossed the boundary and entered the 11th level, which completely destroyed her remaining advantage. Bang! Qin Qing's defeat shocked the whole audience. Many pairs of stunned eyes opened their mouths to cheer for Qin Qing. They could not close their mouths. The goddess in their hearts had fallen to the mortal world and was completely shattered by a young man with a saber. Lin Feng wins. Yuluan Saint announced the final result. In an instant, the audience gasped. On the side of the auditorium, the geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, who were holding the huge banner, were extremely shocked. At the same time, they were extremely excited. They screamed to express their joy. They had won. They had won. No one was optimistic about them, but they had won. Lin Feng. Lin Feng. Lin Feng. As the voice of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall resounded throughout the Dongwang Empire, everyone in the Milky Way Dark Network witnessed the birth of the champion. Lin Feng, as a dark horse, had consecutively defeated all the experts. He looked down on all the juniors. I told you, Lin Feng would definitely win. Don't say that in hindsight. Who was the one who had been pessimistic about Lin Feng and listened to Yu Yang's nonsense that Lin Feng could not even enter the competition? Come on, he is the champion. Haven't you heard that the more wine is brewed, the more fragrant it will be? That's right, come out, Yu Yang. Are you mute? Why are you so quiet now? What did you say before? Lin Feng was not qualified to participate in the competition. You want to replace Lin Feng in the competition? Ha ha ha, what a joke. I say, why are you arguing with that idiot? Are you going to be as stupid as him? At this moment, Yu Yang's face was flushed red, and he did not dare to show his face. He had never thought that Lin Feng could really win the championship, which was a slap to his face. As Lin Feng won the championship, his notoriety spread far and wide, and he became a street rat. Slandering Lin Feng? He was now the pride of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, the idol of all the genius warriors. Yu Yang, who was covered in dust, looked as if he had aged by dozens of eras. Not only did he lose his reputation, but he also lost all his cosmos crystals. He He wanted to prove that Lin Feng was useless, so he bet all his assets on Qin Qing. Now he had nothing left. Unlike Yu Yong, the geniuses of the Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall struck it rich this time. Because of their willfulness, they all bet a lot of cosmos crystals, and many of them bet all their assets like Yu Yong. Now, as Lin Feng won the championship, all of them made a fortune. The odds were close to 110. It was quite exaggerated. Haha, I'm rich. Betting on Lin Feng is definitely the wisest thing I've done in my life. You're so stingy. Your money is nothing. I bet all my assets, huh? You're envious, aren't you? It's too late for regrets now. Damn it, I should have bet all my money. Who would have thought that Lin Feng could really win? But fortunately, I bet a lot. Great returns. In the internal network of the Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall, everyone was jubilant. No matter how much they bet, more than 90% of the disciples had bet. Lin Feng's victory brought prosperity to the entire Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall. Most importantly, Lin Feng represented the Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall to win the championship. The Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall had not won the championship for more than a dozen years. They had even missed the top 3 battles for a few years. This time, they could finally wash away their dejection. Lin Feng's appearance had once again boosted the reputation of the Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall. This was the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. Lin Feng, the #1 silver core in the Dongwang Empire. Chapter 1342. Genius remembers love in 1 second /small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Number 1. What kind of title was that? How powerful was that? But Lin Feng's victory was well-deserved. Monarch Qin Wushou showed a satisfied smile and applauded Lin Feng. The audience also applauded to congratulate Lin Feng for winning the Dongwang Genius Battle. At the same time, get married. The group of disciples of the Hundred Saints Martial Arts Hall, who were holding banners fearlessly, suddenly shouted in unison. Instantly, there was a burst of joy. Many people who were waiting to watch a good show also shouted. In an instant, the resounding sound made Qin Qing's face and neck red. She had lost. According to her master's promise, if she lost, then... Lin Feng, what do you think? Monarch Qin Wushou said with a smile. At this time, he was very amiable. Prince Yushu, who was beside him, didn't think it was a big deal and blinked meaningfully. Obviously, as long as Lin Feng nodded, Monarch Qin Wushou would be the matchmaker. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. Although the rules allowed me to win the Dongwang Genius Battle, my breakthrough during the battle and my improvement to the Silver Heart level was actually a small advantage. I didn't really defeat Qin Qing, so it doesn't count. Qin Qing was slightly stunned. She thought that Lin Feng would directly accept the monarch, because according to Lin Feng's performance before, She pursed her lips and looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression. Qin Qing's heart was in turmoil. If Lin Feng accepted the monarch's betrothal, she would fulfill her promise. But she just fulfilled it. Qin Qing didn't have a good impression of Lin Feng, and she didn't like Lin Feng. But now, because of Lin Feng's rejection and what he said, the image of Lin Feng in her heart had unconsciously changed. She even felt an indescribable sense of loss in her heart. Qin Qing was very prideful. She knew her own strength, and she knew even more about her alluring beauty. Therefore, when she was rejected at this moment, she had mixed feelings. "Thank you," Qin Qing said to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood. He smiled and said, "I'm telling the truth." Her white dress was fluttering in the wind, which made Qin Qing look even more perfect. Her face without makeup showed her snow-white skin, making her look like a fairy descending to the mortal world. She was so beautiful. 100 years later, let's fight again. If I lose, everyone in the Dongwang Empire can testify. I, Qin Qing, am willing to marry Lin Feng. Everyone was silent. It was the first time that Qin Qing had said something like that in front of someone else. 100 years later, with Qin Qing's talent, she would naturally reach the Silver Heart level. By then, there would be no reason for her to fight with Lin Feng again. Both of them would be at the silver heart level, so it would be fair to win or lose. After saying that, Qin danced gracefully and left. This battle had a deep impact on her. I have faith in you. Monarch Qin Wushou patted Lin Feng's shoulder with a smile. Prince Yushu gave him a thumbs up and left with Monarch Qin Wushou. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. 100 years later? He didn't expect Qin to say that. If I lose this time, it seems that she will really marry me. Lin Feng murmured to himself and shook his head with a bitter smile. Qin was indeed beautiful, but he couldn't marry all the beautiful girls. The most important thing for a couple was whether they had feelings for each other. But he and Qin didn't have feelings for each other. That was why Lin Feng rejected Monarch Qin Wushou's proposal and saved Qin's face. 100 years later, I think I'd better avoid her. Lin Feng felt helpless. He couldn't afford to offend her, but he could avoid her. With the winner between Lin Feng and Qin, the Dongwang genius battle officially came to an end in heated discussions. Monarch Qin Wushou personally awarded a Chaos Hole Profound Treasure. As the champion, Lin Feng received a top-grade Chaos Hole Profound Treasure. The only top-grade Chaos Hole Profound Treasure. The third one. Lin Feng looked at the Chaos Hole Profound Treasure in his hand, which was shaped like a snowflake. It was a light elemental Chaos Hole Profound Treasure. For now, he didn't have any connection with it. His cultivation of light wasn't high. As senior sister said, this top-grade Chaos Hole Profound Treasure was prepared for Qin. Lin Feng knew that the Chaos Hole Profound Treasure would be powerful in Qin's hands. However, it wasn't bad for him to keep it. Although it can't be compatible with me, I can slowly refine it after I become a saint. Lin Feng cultivated the great Tao of light, so he didn't reject it. Top-grade Chaos Hole Profound Treasures were rare even for saints. It was a rare item. Although it could unleash 120% or 150% of its power, it could still unleash 100% of its power after refining it. I've just reached the silver heart level, but I already have 3 Chaos Hole Profound Treasures. Lin Feng was very satisfied. Each one was stronger than the last. He now had 2 powerful Chaos Hole Profound Treasures and 1 top-grade Chaos Hole Profound Treasure. His wealth was almost comparable to that of Crane Saint's teacher. The Dongwang genius battle came to an end. As the champion, Lin Feng naturally received a lot of attention. He was famous throughout the Dongwang Empire. However, Lin Feng didn't take advantage of this opportunity to make a name for himself. After the Dongwang genius battle ended, he returned to Crane Saint Planet number 5 and continued to cultivate. Fame and fortune were just worldly possessions. Lin Feng was very clear. So what if he had a status like Monarch Qin Wushou's? The solar system was a well. Wasn't the Milky Way also a well? Powerful people like his teacher, Monarch True Dragon, the master of Black Field, and the strongest black hole level were incomparable in the vast universe. Above black hole level experts, there were almighty masters. Above almighty masters, there were transcendental existences called supremacies. He knew of a supremacy. He was a life form born in the 10,000 origin mustard stone during the chaotic era of the universe. He was Yi Yuan's grandfather, Supremacy Wan Yuan. However, even someone as strong as Supremacy Wan Yuan wasn't invincible in the vast universe. The universe was too vast. Now he was nothing at all. When one's strength reached the black hole level, one could pass through the black hole and travel in the universe. Only then could one truly be considered a part of the universe. Cultivate. Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. He wanted to become stronger than his teacher, and even stronger than Supremacy Wan Yuan. A man should have a relentless fighting spirit. Time passed day by day. Lin Feng was busy expanding the source astral realm and improving the light core, dark core, and thunder core to 10 million times. This was a vast process. If he relied on cultivation, it would take at least a few thousand years. Just the expansion of the source astral realm was already incredible. 100 million mental strength. Even with an endless supply of Aeon crystals, It still took Lin Feng 3 years to complete it. Feeling the abundant energy in his body, Lin Feng smiled. Now he had officially become a silver heart expert. Strength, battle strength. Even if he only used the first form of hating the heavens, he could still defeat Qin Qing. Lin Feng just came out of seclusion and saw a familiar person. It was Prince Yushu. At this moment, his expression was a bit solemn. Chapter 1343. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Young master, Prince Yushu has been waiting for a long time. White Commander said. Lin Feng nodded his head, and the White Commander retreated. Although Prince Yushu and Lin Feng were close friends, he knew when to disturb and when not to. Fortunately, Brother Lin's training time is short. I thought I would have to wait for 8 to 10 years. Although he was joking, Prince Yushu's face was still serious. Prince, you must be joking. What happened? Lin Feng and Prince Yushu sat down on the stone chair. Brother Lin, something big has happened. Prince Yushu looked at Lin Feng and said in a low voice, the galaxy's super black hole has entered the second stage. The second stage? Lin Feng was slightly taken aback, and his eyes instantly widened. The second stage of the decay period. Lin Feng's eyelids twitched and his heartbeat quickened. Although he was mentally prepared, he was still shocked. Previously, the galaxy's super black hole had been in the first stage of the decay period. But the first and second stages were completely different. After entering the decay period, the galaxy's super black hole's energy supply to the Milky Way would gradually decrease. It would first replenish itself. But at this stage, the energy it devoured would still exceed the energy it consumed. But in the second stage, the energy it devoured would be equal to the energy it consumed. At this time, the galaxy's super black hole would no longer replenish the Milky Way. In the third stage, the energy it devoured would be less than the energy it consumed. The galaxy's super black hole would absorb its own energy until the energy was exhausted. Then, the galaxy's super black hole would enter the death period. Brother Lin, you should know that the second stage is just a transition. The time is very short. It will enter the third stage soon. Prince Yushu looked serious. The detection devices of the 7 empires have lost all energy detection of the galaxy super black hole. Lin Feng took a light breath. His heart was like a raging storm. This news was too shocking. Although his teacher had mentioned that the galaxy's super black hole would enter the second stage soon, he did not expect it to be so fast. From the second stage onwards, the galaxy's super black hole's decay rate would enter a sharp decline. Because its energy was limited, as the Milky Way super black hole continued to wither, the devouring power of the Milky Way super black hole became smaller and smaller. Naturally, the replenishment became lesser and lesser, and the consumption rate increased, forming a vicious cycle. How long does the Milky Way have left? Lin Feng looked directly at Prince Yushu. According to the 7 great empires' estimates, the second phase will last for about an era, and then enter the third phase. Within 10 eras, the energy of the Milky Way super black hole will be exhausted, and it will enter the period of death. Prince Yushu's voice was firm but helpless. That feeling was like knowing that he was going to die, but he couldn't stop it. In other words, the Milky Way only has 11 eras of lifespan left. Lin Feng frowned. 11 eras, which was 110,000 years. It was a long time for humans on Earth, but it was a meager amount in the Milky Way galaxy. Even the most ordinary silver spiral cosmic system states had a lifespan of 30 years. Saints even had a lifespan of 1,000 years. The 11th era, it was only equivalent to a long period of cultivation. Almost. No matter how I estimate, the lifespan of the Milky Way will not exceed 20 years. Prince Yushu sighed. I did not expect to face death right after I became the crown prince. If the Milky Way galaxy was gone, the 7 great empires would naturally disappear. There is only one way to survive. Leave the Milky Way galaxy. Lin Feng pursed his lips and nodded. So now, everyone should be squeezing into the ancient myriad world's secret realm. The ancient myriad world's secret realm, which only opened once every few hundred eras, was the last hope of the Milky Way galaxy. Prince Yushu nodded. With the arrival of the second phase, some of the hidden secret realms in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm have been shaken out. Although the danger has increased, the opportunities have increased by several times. Lin Feng understood. The Milky Way super black hole had entered the second phase, which basically meant that it had to find a place to store its energy and absorb it. The ancient Myriad World's secret realm was naturally shaken out. Prince, don't tell me you want to go in too? Lin Feng suddenly understood. Not only me, the other princes have already gone in. Prince Yushu shrugged and laughed. Compared to the throne, staying alive is more important. The ancient Myriad World's secret realm is the last chance. Lin Feng nodded. The prince was also a human. If he missed this opportunity, he would be waiting for death. So you are here to ask me to go in with you? Lin Feng suddenly understood. Prince Yushu nodded. I don't trust the others, but you're my friend. I trust you. I'm not a prince in front of you now. I'm just an ordinary Silver Heart Realm warrior. Qin Yushu, I wonder if Brother Lin will do me the honor? 8 years ago, after Prince Yushu lost to Qin Qing, he immediately broke through and became a Silver Heart Realm warrior. For a prince of the royal family, a pile of sacred fruits could create a Silver Heart Realm warrior. This was nothing. Lin Feng smiled. Prince Yushu knew very well that Lin Feng would not reject him. Indeed, there were many saints and even sage kings in the royal family. But in the end, it was just a matter of taking what they needed. After entering the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, who cared if you were a prince or not? I promise you. Lin Feng nodded. Even if Prince Yushu did not ask, Lin Feng wanted to take a look at the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Especially now that it was so lively and full of opportunities, it would be too boring if he did not enter. The Milky Way galaxy only had 11 years left, which meant that Earth also had 11 years left. It would be a lie if he said that he was not worried. After all, as the lord of the territory of Huaxia, he had to take responsibility. Enter the ancient Myriad World's secret realm and see if there is any way. At least, become a black hole realm warrior in the next 11 years. I will ask Zhao then. Lin Feng thought to himself. Zhao had said that he would look for him when he reached the black hole realm. I know that Brother Lin is a straightforward person. Loyalty comes first. Prince Yushu revealed a smile. I won't hide it from Brother Lin. Besides you, I have also contacted 2 other martial artists. They are both like-minded individuals, elites at the Silver Heart level. Their strength is no less than yours or mine. Okay, Lin Feng nodded. He trusted Prince Yushu's judgment. Then it's settled. 7 days later, we will depart from my residence in the capital. Prince Yushu said. I will be there on time. Lin Feng replied. The two bade farewell. 7 days later, Lin Feng made some preparations. After all, he was going to enter the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. He could not afford to be careless. In there, even saints could fall. I wonder how teacher and senior sister are doing. 7 days later, Lin Feng headed to the capital. Danger and opportunity coexisted. Lin Feng was looking forward to entering the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Chapter 1344. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The capital of the empire was prosperous. This was the capital of the Dongwang Empire, where the most powerful people gathered. Saints who couldn't be seen in other star regions could often be seen here. The imperial capital was still packed with people, but he could no longer sense the aura of the saints in the imperial capital. Almost all the saints flocked to the ancient thousand-world secret realm. This was their last chance. We urgently need a Silver Heart Realm cultivator. The team already has 6 Silver Heart Realm cultivators, and the captain is ranked as the king of the arena. We only recruit Silver Heart Realm cultivators. Demons and humans don't disturb us. Come sincerely. There are still 3 vacancies in the 18 Demon Alliance. Only Demon Clan cultivators. Silver Heart Realm cultivators with powerful bloodline will have priority. It was bustling outside the teleportation point in the capital of the empire. Countless nebula states had gathered here and formed teams to enter the ancient Thousand Worlds secret realm. Not only the Dongwang Empire, but also the Silver Martial Empire, the Barbarian Empire, and the Tianhuan Empire. Nebula states were far inferior to saints in terms of strength and survival ability. They could only make up for it in numbers. Usually, a team of 3 to 7 people was the most suitable. If there were too many of them, there would be conflicts. Lin Feng didn't expect it to be so crowded. He passed through the crowd and entered a magnificent building not far from the teleportation point. Only those who were Duke and above could enter. Silver Heart Realm cultivators were usually nobles. Silver Heart Realm cultivators could become Duke if they lived in the Dongwang Empire for a certain period of time, or if someone recommended them. Lin Feng didn't need to be mentioned. Hall 302, it's here. Lin Feng quickly found the location. There was a white screen door in front of him. Lin Feng took out his identity card and pressed it on the detector next to the door. Beep, identity verification, successful. The screen turned from white to green, and Lin Feng entered. If one entered without verifying their identity, they would be attacked by thousands of lightning bolts. This was no joke. If Lin Feng didn't use his Heaven Hatred form and True Dragon Golden Body, it would be difficult to resist. Of course, such a defense system was basically useless against saints. Whoosh, after entering Hall 302, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. It was a man and a woman. The man was handsome, wearing a silver armor and a tiger's soul helmet. His eyes were bright as he looked at them. It was Prince Yushu. Haha, Brother Lin is so punctual. Prince Yushu laughed heartily. Lin Feng greeted Prince Yushu with a smile. Then, he looked at the beautiful woman and was slightly surprised. She was dressed in a white robe and looked like a fairy in the clouds. She was elegant and otherworldly. Her beautiful face gave people a kind of deep lake, indifferent, calm, and composed. She was completely different from Qin Qing. Qin Qing was like a blooming peony, elegant and graceful. The woman in white seemed to be cultivating in seclusion in a Taoist temple in a secluded valley. She was so calm that it was almost impossible to sense her existence. She is? Lin Feng exclaimed. Teacher from Shuiyin Club? Prince Yushu was startled. The beautiful woman was also slightly surprised. Her indifferent face showed a touch of surprise. She nodded slightly. I don't deserve to be called a teacher. Just call me Shui Yun. Prince Yushu smiled. Seems like you know each other. More than that. Lin Feng sighed and smiled. I have attended all of Teacher Shui Yun Club's virtual video classes. I have benefited a lot. When he first entered the Milky Way Black Network, he had watched Teacher Shui Yun Club's classes. It was easy to understand and fascinating. The reason why he could cultivate so quickly was because of Teacher Shui Yun Club's teachings. She was only a teacher back then, but now she was a Silver Heart elite. It was not surprising. For an elite with such a thorough understanding of the path of mystery, it was easy for her to become a Silver Heart elite. It was not even difficult for her to become a Black Hole elite. You flatter me. Shuiyin Club only knows how to talk on paper. My meager understanding has made you laugh. Shuiyin Club said softly. There was a slight ripple on his calm face. Clearly, Shuiyin Club was very pleased with Lin Feng's praise. As a teacher, the happiest thing was not when others said how strong she was, but when others acknowledged her teachings. Brother Lin, you have a good eye. Teacher Shuiyun is famous in the Dongwang Empire. She was already the chief teacher when she was still a Silver Core elite. Now, her position in the Silver Heart elite is as stable as a rock. Prince Yushu introduced. Of course, Teacher Shuiyun's strength is not bad at all. She is ranked 88th in the Silver Heart Elite King Arena. This is because Teacher Shuiyun is not good at fighting. In terms of experience, knowledge, secret techniques, and knowledge, Teacher Shuiyun is definitely one of the best in the Dongwang Empire. Prince Yushu continued to introduce the place. Lin Feng soon met his second teammate in the ancient Myriad World Secret Realm, who was also the team leader of this trip, Shui Yun. In terms of knowledge and experience, Shui Yun deserved to be the team leader. She was ranked 88th in the Silver Heart Elite King Arena. She was a ruler. Unlike the Silver Core Elite King Arena ranking, The Silverheart Elite King Arena ranking was very important. The top 10,000 warriors had the strength of a saint, and the top 100 warriors had the strength of a middle saint. Although Lin Feng had now upgraded to the Silverheart level, the increase in his combat strength was not so obvious. He was probably equivalent to a lower saint. As for Prince Yushu, his combat strength was indeed inferior. He was only equivalent to the top of the Silverheart level. However, his abilities were balanced in all aspects, and he was a jack of all trades. If Lin Feng wanted to form a team himself, he would naturally choose the genius disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Palace. In contrast, Lin Feng was more confident in Prince Yushu. Prince Yushu was very good at judging people. Whoosh, a dark green light flashed, and a beautiful figure appeared at the gate. It was the second teammate that Prince Yushu had mentioned before. Although Lin Feng had thought about it before, he was still surprised when he saw her in person. Qing or Lin Feng? They were opponents in the Dongwang Genius Battle, and they were not friends. When they met again, they were still at loggerheads. It was as if they had returned to the moment when they had the final battle 3 years ago. Like Lin Feng, Qing was now a Silverheart elite. With the resources of the royal family, Qing's improvement was rapid. Haha, you don't need to be introduced. Prince Yushu laughed and relaxed the atmosphere. Qing's beautiful eyes glared at Prince Yushu, but the latter turned his face away. He was thick-skinned. Lin Feng also smiled. In the hall, the team of 4 gathered. Shui Yun was the leader. She gave each of them 3 love stones as a contact. Soon, the team of 4 went to the ancient boundary through the transmission formation. Although Lin Feng is a burden, our team is very good-looking. How about we call ourselves the High-Face Team? No. Chapter 1345. Lin Feng and the other 3 set off from the capital and soon arrived at the Aeon boundary. Crossing this boundary meant that they were less than 1,000th of a light year away from the Aeon boundary. An ordinary saint could reach it with a single teleportation. Compared to 30 years ago, when the Aeon boundary first opened, the Aeon boundary was overcrowded now. There are 3 types of dangers in the Aeon boundary. The first type is the most inhumane, but it will cause a large number of deaths among saints and nebula states. This is especially true for the 7 empires that have feuds with each other. For example, the Barbarian Empire and the Tianhuan Empire, the Thousand Demon Empire and the Vile Empire. Shui Yin looked indifferent as she explained. Is it the Dongwang Empire? Lin Feng asked. Yes, the Silver Martial Empire, but they don't have a deep grudge against each other. They are just competing to be the head of the 7 empires, Shui Yun said. Also, be careful of the Barbarian Empire and the Vile Empire. These 2 empires have the most demon race experts and hate humans the most. They're the most bloodthirsty. Lin Feng and the other 2 nodded. The demon race was known for their belligerence. The second type of danger is also not to be underestimated. It comes from the tearing force of the Milky Way super black hole itself. Shui Yun said, although the black hole is currently asleep, there is still about a 10,000th of its tearing force in various places. Ordinary tearing forces are not dangerous, but there is more than one type of tearing force. The Milky Way super black hole is more likely to erupt suddenly. Usually, there will be signs of an eruption, unless it is a large-scale tearing force storm, the collapse of the secret realm, or death devouring. If one is unlucky, even a saint cannot escape. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. After all, the Aeon boundary was inside the Milky Way super black hole. No one knew what would happen. He had looked through the information. Under normal circumstances, it was an ordinary tearing force that could be completely blocked. However, sometimes there would be major disasters in the Aeon boundary, disasters that could not be stopped. However, the chances of it happening were not high. The third type is the void-devouring beast. Looking at the surprised crowd, Shui Yun paused and said, "It is normal that you have not heard of it. The void-devouring beast is usually in the depths of the Aeon boundary. If a saint does not go deep, he may not be able to see it. Void-devouring beast is a beast." Qing's beautiful eyes flashed. Shui Yun shook her head. Space devourer beasts can only be found in the eternal infinite world's secret realms, in other words, black holes. They are also a type of life form, a space life form, Shui Yun said. Have you heard of the pyramid of laws? Upper-level laws, middle-level laws, and low-level laws? Qing asked. Shui Yun nodded. By cultivating the elemental energy of heaven and earth to the extreme, one will be able to obtain the power of laws, enough to split the heavens and earth and move the stars. Amongst them, the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth are the inferior laws. Yin and yang are the intermediate laws. Light, darkness, lightning, wind, and earth are the superior laws. The fusion laws are another matter altogether. Let's take the origin of cloud thunder as an example. Once one's cultivation reaches the 7th level of the origin sea and successfully condenses the origin sea, the superior laws of cloud thunder will be considered a minor accomplishment. The Tao of laws is divided into small success, large success, peak success, extreme perfection, and great perfection. When you comprehend lesser-level laws to the level of perfection, intermediate-level laws to the level of perfection, and upper-level laws to the level of apex, you will be able to comprehend 2 heaven-level laws, the laws of space and the laws of time. This is the pyramid of laws. Lin Feng nodded his head in understanding. Shui Yun was indeed the chief instructor of the Dongwang Empire. She was very knowledgeable. Black holes are also life forms in the universe. They are of the same level as white holes. Their level of life is much higher than that of planets and stars. Black holes contain a lot of space energy. The space-swallowing beast is a unique life form born from the space heart formed by the life force of a black hole. It is born with the ability to control space energy. The space-swallowing beast has no soul, so it can't comprehend other laws except for the law of space. Even so, it is already very terrifying. Because it can't comprehend other laws, the universe gives it the ability to devour. It has the same characteristics as a black hole. However, unlike a black hole, the space-swallowing beast devours souls. It can comprehend laws by devouring souls. Shui Yun's tone was very calm. But both Lin Feng and Qing were shocked. It was the first time they had heard of such an ability. Comprehend laws by devouring souls? What a terrifying talent. Lin Feng took a deep breath. It was indeed a strange life form born in a black hole. It was already very powerful to comprehend the law of space, but it could also comprehend laws by devouring souls. Because the law of space is a heaven-rank law, the top of the pyramid of laws, the space-swallowing beast can directly comprehend other laws. Lin Feng asked. That's right. Shui Yun nodded slightly. Suddenly, she shook her head. But the heaven-rank law is not the top of the pyramid of laws. Lin Feng was stunned. Well, don't ask so much. The saint is here. It's time for us to go in, Shui Yun said softly. Following her gaze, Lin Feng immediately saw an acquaintance. It was Saint Yuluan, the host of the Dongwang Genius Battle. Teacher, Prince Yushu bowed. Prince, you don't have to be so polite. Saint Yuluan walked over with a smile, causing a commotion. Many pairs of eyes looked over with hope and hope. The teams of cosmic system warriors who stayed here were all waiting for the saint to appear. To enter the ancient thousand-world secret realm, one could only rely on teleportation. Although it was less than 1,000th of a light year away, even the best spaceship in the Milky Way could not resist the terrifying tearing force of a black hole. There is a world of difference between a cosmic system and a black hole. Greetings, Saint. Lin Feng and the other two followed suit and bowed. Saint Yuluan was a middle-level saint after all, and he was quite famous in the Dongwang Empire. As a junior, he naturally had to bow. There are only 4 of you? Saint Yuluan glanced over and was slightly surprised. Quality is more important than quantity. Prince Yushu smiled. Lin Feng understood. Obviously, the teams of the other princes were more spectacular than Prince Yushu's. However, as Prince Yushu said, it did not mean that there were more people entering the ancient thousand-world secret realm. That's true. Although there are only 4 of you, You are all very good. St. Yuluin's eyes were filled with admiration. Needless to say, Lin Feng and Qin Qing were the top elites of the younger generation that St. Yuluin thought highly of. They had shown amazing strength in the Dongwang genius battle and were comparable to saints. Then, the group chatted for a while. St. Yuluin waved his hand, and a gust of wind energy shrouded the four of them. In an instant, the surrounding space changed, and with a whoosh, they disappeared into the ancient thousand-world boundary. Soon swoosh, 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 swoosh. Four figures appeared one after another. As they regained their mobility, a powerful tearing force came, and Lin Feng's eyes lit up. They had arrived. This was the ancient thousand-world secret realm. Chapter 1346. What a shocking elemental energy. Lin Feng was shocked. Even without the body of light and darkness bloodline, he could clearly sense the light and darkness origin energy. If he activated the body of light and darkness, his sensing ability would be at least 10 times stronger than outside. Moreover, the elemental origin here gave off a strong feeling, as if it contained some kind of law system. There was an existence stronger than the elemental energy that controlled this area. It's the Space Tao, Lin Feng said. In terms of energy level, there was a huge difference between the star grade and the nebula grade. There was also a qualitative difference between the nebula grade and the black hole grade. It was precisely because of the existence of the Space Tao that the elemental origin was unusually strong. Cultivating here would undoubtedly be twice the result with half the effort, including Captain Shui Yun. It was their first time entering a black hole, so they were naturally curious. Although they had done some homework before coming, their feelings were rather complicated when they actually entered the black hole. That was a black hole. It was a behemoth that could devour galaxies. Not only did the ancient myriad world's secret realm exist in a black hole, but even the entire Milky Way could be said to be in a black hole. For example, the other parts of the human body, such as cells, skin, bones, and so on, were the entire Milky Way. The ancient myriad world's secret realm was the part that stored the nutrients in the heart. The Milky Way super black hole was the heart of the Milky Way. When the nutrients were exhausted and the heart stopped beating, what awaited the Milky Way would be death. Yuluin Saint didn't say anything and just looked at everyone quietly. Wasn't it the same when he first entered? Looking at Lin Feng and the other three was like looking at himself in the past. Suddenly, hundreds of years had passed. Now, he was facing the end of his life. This was also his last chance. Okay, let's not stay here. Let's go. Yulin Saint's eyes flashed as he said. Everyone immediately came back to their senses. Prince Yu Shu couldn't help but ask, "Where are we going, teacher?" Jade Realm. The Jade Mirror was a huge piece of stellar debris. Its surface was green like jade, and its hardness was 10,000 times stronger than diamond. Even a nebula-grade powerhouse would find it difficult to completely destroy it. This huge land, near the edge of the ancient myriad world secret realm, was the first stop for martial artists who had just entered the ancient myriad world secret realm. So many people, Prince Yushu exclaimed. Lin Feng's eyes also lit up. At a glance, there were at least tens of thousands of experts. It was extremely shocking. They were basically all cosmic system states, and there were even star states. Lin Feng was dazed, but he immediately understood that cultivating here was faster. Although star states couldn't resist the tearing force of the black hole, they could rely on treasures. The tearing force of the ancient myriad world's secret realms increases exponentially. This is the outermost zone, the first zone. There's only 1/10,000th of the tearing force, so the danger level is the lowest. The deeper you go, the stronger the tearing force. When it reaches 1,000th, 100th, or even 1/10th, even I won't be able to withstand it. Yuluin Saint led the way. The aura of a saint was released invisibly, causing all the warriors on the Jade Mirror to raise their eyebrows. When they saw the four people behind Saint Yulin, they instantly exploded. It's Prince Yushu and Qin Qing, an instructor from Aqua Cloud Club. No way, even Lin Feng is here. The Dongwang genius battle was so fierce. I didn't expect them to have such a good relationship in private. They even formed a team. I envy Lin Feng so much. He can team up with two super beauties, Shui Yun and Qin Qing. Qin Qing is really beautiful. She is much more beautiful in real life than the Galaxy Dark Network. I think the instructor from Aqua Cloud Club is more beautiful. She is out of this world, mature and generous. This was the foothold of the Dongwang Empire warriors, and most of them were cosmic system states. Not long after the Dongwang Genius Battle, Lin Feng and the other two won first, second, and third place, so they were very recognizable. As for Shui Yun, she was the chief instructor of the Dongwang Empire. Countless warriors had watched her virtual video tutorials. Even Lin Feng and Prince Yushu had learned from her. Most importantly, Shui Yun and Qin Qing were too beautiful. Both of them had their own unique temperaments and were equally beautiful. Instantly, the Jade Realm had an additional beautiful scenery. Many people looked at Lin Feng with envy. The news that the galaxy super black hole has entered the second stage of its decline has spread. Yuluan Saint said, "This news is hard to stop, so a large number of cosmic system states suddenly came in the past 2 years. Although it is dangerous to cultivate here, no one can care so much now. I believe there will be more cosmic system states entering in the future." Lin Feng and the others nodded. The Milky Way only had 11 eras left. If they did not fight hard now, they would be waiting for death. However, their influx has little impact. Yuluan Saint said, "We have basically divided the ancient myriad world secret realm into 4 major areas. Most of the cosmic system states can only move in the first area, which is 1 in 10,000 and 1 in 1,000 of the black hole's tearing force. Although this area is the largest, there are few treasures and almost no secrets." Yulin Saint pointed at a skinny man not far away. "Look, he is selling a map. The map records more than 99% of the areas in the first area." Lin Feng and the others were enlightened. Although the first area was large, there were many people exploring it. Naturally, there were no secrets. Of course, nothing is certain. It's just relative. Yulin Saint said, "After entering the second area, the opportunities will greatly increase. After all, only a very small number of cosmic system states can enter the second area." Yuluan Saint paused and said, "For example, you guys." Lin Feng nodded. In the second area, the tearing force of the black hole was 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 100. He should be able to resist it with his body, but that was pretty much his limit. In the third area, there are even fewer people. Ordinary saints can't resist that terrifying tearing force, especially in the depths of the third area. It is rather dangerous. Once a Saint King died there. In the depths of the fourth area, even Saint Kings don't dare to enter easily. According to what I know, most of the Saint Kings are in the third area. Very few enter the fourth area." Yuluan Saint smiled. "With your strength, it is most reasonable to enter the second area. Before you have enough strength, don't force yourself to enter the third area." Everyone agreed. Even saints couldn't stop the third area, much less them. The third area, the fourth area. Lin Feng's heart was filled with boundless curiosity. While he was searching, Lin Feng's gaze suddenly shot towards the distance, and his pupils instantly dilated. It was a very familiar figure that he had been searching for. "It's him!" Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 1347. Listen up. Our Radiant Saint Palace's target this time is planet Huanfan, a 1/10 of a light year away. A white-robed, middle-aged man with a white glow above his head explained without stopping. In his hand, there was a map with the location marked. There were dozens of cosmic system states around him, but their power was uneven. There were silver core states, silver plate states, and even silver whirlpool states. The white-robed man was the strongest at the silver core state. Among the dozens of cosmic system states, there was a man holding a huge sword. He was muscular and had a sun on his forehead that represented his bloodline. He was Chi Hao, who had just joined the Light Saint Palace. He was once the strongest human being on Nemo planet. Miracle Saint King, Chi Hao. When he was defeated by Lin Feng that day, he was completely disheartened and entered the silent world. Instead, he accidentally discovered the secret of the Nemo star. He didn't know when the seal of the Nemo star had disappeared. Chi-Hao was overjoyed and immediately left Nemo Planet. To every powerful being on Nemo Planet, it was their lifelong wish to be able to leave that prison. Chi-Hao did the same. He didn't go to Earth. Instead, he went in the opposite direction and finally arrived at the border of the Milky Way. After leaving the Milky Way, he came to the Black Wolf Gold Empire like Lin Feng, but he arrived later than Lin Feng. With a strong desire to become stronger, Chi-Hao's power increased rapidly. He had an extremely powerful bloodline and was the most outstanding talent on Nemo Planet. After entering the Milky Way, his potential was further developed. He went from Silver Whirlpool to Silver Plate State, and soon he entered Silver Core State. Although he wasn't as freakish as Lin Feng, his shocking cultivation speed still attracted attention. Later, the Holy Palace of Light happened to be recruiting talented disciples in the Black Wolf Gold Empire. Chi-Hao went there and successfully joined the Holy Palace of Light. After that, he went around in circles to the Dongwang Empire. Before he could sit down, he was taken to the secret land of ancient Thousand Worlds. Presently, Chi-Hao already possessed the strength to sweep through Nemo's star. However, he didn't go back because there was no need. Now that he had truly witnessed the vastness of the Milky Way, he realized how insignificant his previous knowledge was. In the Milky Way, even a powerful force like the Black Wolf Gold Empire would perish. As for the civilization on the planets, it would be even more difficult for it to last. The replacement of civilizations and the division and reunification of the big picture were normal phenomena. Go back and protect Nemo Planet? He was not in the mood for leisure. To Chi-Hao, becoming stronger was his true pursuit, especially when he had just found out that the Milky Way super black hole had entered the second stage of its decline. He was in a precarious situation and could not even take care of himself. Suddenly, he felt a strange gaze. Chi-Hao turned around and saw a young man walking towards him. The young man was extremely familiar, and he seemed as if he'd seen the young man somewhere before, yet he was unable to recall where. Wait a minute. He is. Chi-Hao's expression suddenly changed. Their eyes met, and they both recognized each other. Lin Feng did not expect to see Chi-Hao here. After returning to Earth from Nemo Planet, he had been on guard against Chi-Hao. However, after waiting for a long time, Chi-Hao did not appear. He had almost forgotten about Chi-Hao. Unfortunately, enemies were bound to meet. Lin Feng, Chi-Hao's eyes flashed. The memory of his defeat that day was still fresh in his mind. Now, he had enough strength to take revenge. However, there was no need for that. Hello, we meet again. Chi-Hao took the initiative to greet him. Suddenly, he did not know that his greeting had saved his life. Lin Feng did not expect Chi-Hao to be so friendly to him. As the saying goes, one does not slap a smiling face. Lin Feng nodded slightly. Hello, what a coincidence. Yes, Chi-Hao replied. I just joined the Holy Palace of Light. Lin Feng was a little surprised. Logically speaking, Chi-Hao should hate him very much. However, this time, it was like they were chatting casually. Instead, it was like they were old friends who had not seen each other for a long time. Is that so? Congratulations. Lin Feng said. You came alone? Chi-Hao asked. Lin Feng shook his head. There are 3 other friends. We formed a team. Chi-Hao sighed softly, thinking that Lin Feng did not join any forces. He then said, Do you need any help? Lin Feng could not help but laugh. After a slight pause, Lin Feng could not help but ask curiously, You don't want to kill me? There is no enmity between you and me. It's just that we have different standpoints. Chi-Hao said indifferently. The rise and fall of the human race on planet Nemo has its own destiny. I have long thought it through. Moreover, we all come from the Milky Way. It's actually a kind of fate to meet in this unfamiliar place. Lin Feng praised in his heart. Previously, he did not really understand Chi-Hao. He only knew that he was the strongest human on planet Nemo. Now, he knew him a little. If it was not necessary, Lin Feng did not want to kill him to silence him. Just as Chi-Hao said, they just had different standpoints. What good word. Lin Feng smiled. The killing intent he had for Chi-Hao had long disappeared. He could see that every word Chi Hao said came from the bottom of his heart. There was no falsehood. It was better to have more friends than more enemies. I should stay here for a few days. Over there. Lin Feng pointed behind him and said, "Come and talk to me if you have the chance. My teammates are waiting for me. I'll go over first." Okay. Chi Hao nodded. Seeing Lin Feng turn around and leave, Chi Hao's expression was calm. To him now, Lin Feng was just a passerby he was familiar with. Turning his head, Chi Hao continued to listen to his master's introduction. However, he was suddenly stunned. At this moment, all the senior brothers, including his master, were focused on him. They looked at him eagerly. "What happened to you guys?" Chi Hao asked in a daze. "Junior brother Chi, do you know Lin Feng?" "Junior brother Chi, how did you meet Lin Feng? Are you close?" In an instant, his seniors and juniors began to chatter and ask, causing Chi Hao to be slightly stunned. Even his master's gaze towards him had a different meaning, and it was filled with admiration. Chi Hao was naturally not stupid. He had a knot in his heart and immediately asked, "Master, is Lin Feng very famous?" The white-robed man smiled and said, "Do you think a disciple of the 100 Saints Martial Palace is famous?" The 100 Saints Martial Palace. Chi Hao opened his mouth in shock. He could not believe it. That was the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. They only accepted geniuses. Lin Feng was so powerful that he could become a member of the 100 Saints Martial Palace? Chi Hao, you joined the sect late. Maybe you don't know. The white-robed man continued. In the Dongwang genius battle that just ended, Lin Feng defeated a group of strong cultivators and won the championship with his indisputable strength. Dongwang genius battle? Chi Hao was shocked. That required the top strength of a silver core cultivator. Countless strong cultivators ranked in the King realm gathered together. With his current strength, he was not even qualified to participate. Lin Feng actually won the championship? Was this a joke? Chi Hao was confused and could not come back to his senses. Chapter 1348. After seeing Chi Hao, Lin Feng walked to a place not far away. Although the Jade Realm was huge, it did not have any capsule houses or Sumeru Palace because it could not withstand the tearing force of the black hole. Even the top super defense system of the Dongwang Empire could only defend against attacks below the black hole level. Although there was only 1/10,000th of the tearing force of the black hole, it was always there. Silver Heart level masters could withstand it perfectly with their bodies, and so could the more powerful Silver Core level masters. Other Nebula level masters had to rely on treasures. Where are the saints? Lin Feng walked to where everyone was staying, which was a valley. Teacher went to the second area. We are slow, so we won't be a burden to him, Prince Yushu joked. Lin Feng smiled. The saints could perform teleportation, and the space energy here was abundant, so their speed was much faster. The four of them could only fly slowly. We'll have to rely on ourselves next, Shui Yun said. Get used to the tearing force of the black hole first, and make sure it doesn't affect the battle, then we'll set off. Everyone agreed. 1/10,000th of the tearing force of the black hole would always be there, so it was equivalent to being attacked all the time. They had to get used to it first, or it would be difficult to exert their combat power. Lin Feng adapted the fastest. His physical strength was top-notch even among the saints, so he did not care about the tearing force of the black hole. He did not need to deliberately adapt. Basically, he could just ignore it. Shui Yun and Qin Qing are also adapted quickly. Both of them were talented, especially Shui Yun. She had the combat power of a mid-level saint, and was only a little slower than Lin Feng. However, seeing Lin Feng adapt so quickly, Shui Yun's calm face still revealed a hint of astonishment. The slowest was Prince Yushu, who took 3 days to adapt. Unlike Lin Feng and the others, Prince Yushu relied on treasures. Don't you want to think about it? Lin Feng looked at Chi Hao. He had chatted with Chi Hao many times in the past 3 days, and they had resolved their old grudges. There was no enmity between them, and they were just on different sides. Since Chi Hao had no intention of revenge, it was better to resolve the enmity. Thank you for your kind intentions, Brother Lin. Chi Hao smiled and said, however, to join the 100 Saints Martial Hall, one needs to be at the Silver Heart Realm to enter the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. I'm afraid I can't wait that long. Brother Lin should know that this is your last chance. Lin Feng nodded. He recommended Chi Hao to join the 100 Saints Martial Hall. Although Chi Hao was interested, the timing wasn't right. You should know that even a Silver Heart rank expert would have a 90% chance of survival in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, not to mention a Silver Core rank. Lin Feng advised tactfully. Chi Hao's strength was not even at the King realm, so it was very dangerous for him to wander in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Life and death are predestined. Just do your best. There was no fear on Chi Hao's face. Instead, there was a kind of anticipation and yearning. Looking at him, Lin Feng could not help but smile, just like looking at himself in the past. He was also a true martial artist. Good luck. Come back alive. Lin Feng stretched out his hand. Thank you for your kind words, Brother Lin. Chi Hao clenched his fist. They looked at each other and smiled, then separated. Everyone had their own path to walk, so Lin Feng would not force them. Back at the gathering place, Qin Xing, and the other two were already prepared. Prince Yushu and Shu Yun were studying the map together, discussing the route. Just as Yulun Sane had said, the first region was almost completely explored. On the map, there were clear locations. There are still some hidden places in the first region that have not been completely explored. There might be treasures in the secret realms. According to the map, there are about 1,327 of them, but they are all a bit remote, Shui Yun said. If we want to explore these areas, we will have to wait until we enter the second region. Everyone tell us, do you want to explore the first region or enter the second region directly? Shui Yun looked at everyone. Although she was the leader, she was not stubborn. Lin Feng, Qin Xing, and Prince Yushu looked at each other. I think it's okay to take a detour. Explore the first region and get used to it, step by step, Prince Yushu said. Go directly to the second region. Qin Xing's beautiful eyes flashed. There is too much competition in the first region, and those hidden places that have not been completely explored are either very dangerous or strange. It will not be easy to explore. The three's eyes immediately fell on Lin Feng. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, I agree with Qin Xing. There will only be more and more cosmic system warriors coming in. Only by exploring the second region can we maximize our team's strength. Sigh, you forget your friends when you see a girl. Prince Yushu sighed. Qin Xing's face blushed, and her beautiful eyes stared. Mr. Lin is right. We can all adapt to 1,000th of the black hole's tearing force in the second region. There are not only many secret realms there, but also many unexplored areas. So soon you're singing the husband's tune. Prince Yushu teased. Stop joking. Shui Yun nodded gently. It's decided. We will take the shortest route to the second region. Everyone agreed. On the other side of the Jade Realm, two saints stood tall, leading 5 martial artists who were at the peak of the Silver Heart rank. They surrounded a young man who was wearing golden armor and a crown on his head. The aura of a saint spread out, and no one dared to get close. It was the second prince, Qin Shun. The crown prince has set off, one of the Silver Heart warriors reported. Bulsh *T crown prince. Qin Shin's eyes turned cold as he cursed. I don't know what he gave that old fart to make him a crown prince. I'm 100 times stronger than him. I'm much more capable than him. Prince, there's no need to be angry. If we want him to live, he will live. If we want him to die, he will die. A low-level saint with a yellowish face and a sharp horn on his forehead said in a harsh voice. Qin Shun gritted his teeth, and his eyes were full of killing intent. He came to me himself. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Shui Yun, 1 powerful chaos whole treasure and 2 ordinary chaos whole treasures. Qin Xing, 2 powerful chaos whole treasures and 2 ordinary chaos whole treasures. Lin Feng, 1 top-grade chaos whole treasure and 2 powerful chaos whole treasures. I don't know what ordinary chaos whole treasures are. Qin Yushu, 1 top-grade chaos whole treasure and 4 powerful chaos whole treasures. The man made of metal and stone spoke solemnly. His voice caused space to buzz and tremble, and the strength of an intermediate saint was clearly displayed. Their strength is completely disproportionate to the chaotic cavern treasures they possess. The eyes of all the warriors lit up, and they all revealed looks of greed. Firmeer's Silver Heart rank martial artists actually possessed such a shocking amount of treasures. Brother Tai, how confident are we? The second prince, Qin Shan, asked. The middle-level saint, Taiwan, clenched his fists and made a cracking sound. 99%. The second prince, Qin Shan, was startled, and then he laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Then what are we waiting for? Kill them all. Everyone's faces were ferocious. Chapter 1349. Lin Feng and the others are gone. Do we do it or not? Of course, we will die anyway. What else can we do? Kill them. Second Prince Qin wasn't the only one with crooked ideas. Fame had its advantages and disadvantages. Lin Feng, Qin Xing and Prince Yushu had all shown their faces in the Dongwang genius competition. Especially when they were in the top 3, it was no secret how powerful they were and how many treasures they had. Shui Yun, as the chief mentor of the Dongwang Empire, was just as exposed as Lin Feng and the other two. They're just close to the Saint Realm. What are you afraid of? Yes, they're just 4 people. We can totally crush them with our numbers. Besides, fighting on the duel field is different from a life-and-death battle. How many of them have seen blood? They're just armchair strategists. Killing them is a piece of cake. Brother Zhang, shall we go? Let's follow them and take action when we are sure. We're not the only ones eyeing this fat piece of meat. Yes, we can't let others take advantage of us. As Lin Feng and the other 3 left the Jade Realm, groups of warriors left one after another, each with their own ulterior motives. The temptation of treasures was too great, enough to make people lose their minds and take risks. Revenge? The Milky Way only had 11 years left. Who would care? At this moment, Lin Feng and the other 3 were flying at a normal speed. Shui Yun was the most powerful of the 4. Qin Xing was proficient in the way of light and could fly very fast. Lin Feng was the fastest in terms of body and speed. As for Prince Yushu, he had the chaotic whole treasure with him, so his speed was not worse than anyone else. Everyone get ready. There will be battles soon. Shui Yun's voice was calm and indifferent. Huh? Prince Yushu was confused. Lin Feng and Qin Xing looked calm. In the past 3 days, they had seen all kinds of eyes in the Jade Realm. Lin Feng knew that they were greed, jealousy, and killing intent. Treasures were always related to strength. If a person had no strength but great treasures, he would be coveted by others. It's good to familiarize yourself with the battles before entering the second area. Lin Feng was no stranger to this kind of battle. He had grown up in the midst of blood and slaughter. Actual combat was the best way to increase one's strength. Later on, we will encounter powerful warriors from the Silver Warrior Kingdom, the Barbaric Kingdom, and the Extreme Evil Kingdom. Especially after we enter the second area, we will often encounter groups of saints. I agree with Sister Yen's approach. We should practice together first. Qin Xing's beautiful eyes shone. So I'm the only one who was kept in the dark. Prince Yushu looked helpless. Shui Yun glanced at him and said, You have been adapting to the black hole's tearing force for the past 3 days, so you naturally didn't notice it. Lin Feng, and Qing were the same. I only noticed it a while ago, but this wasn't my intention. It was Saint Yu Luan's intention. Everyone suddenly understood. No wonder Saint Yu Luan would bring them to the Jade Realm. Indeed, the older, the wiser. There are not many saints left in the first area. Most of them are lower saints. There are very few middle saints. Even if there were, Shui Yun's voice was calm. I'm confident that I can block them, so don't worry. Lin Feng smiled. Captain Shui Yun's strength was trustworthy. Her Silver Heart King ranking was enough to prove everything. Her battle strength was comparable to a middle saint. Even if he and Qin Xing joined forces, they might not be able to defeat her. We're going to fight so soon. I'm not ready. Prince Yushu's face was gloomy. Shui Yun glanced at him and said, You have the most treasures, but you are the weakest. The Milky Way super black hole has entered the second stage of its decline. Now, everyone is fearless. Your identity is not only not a protective talisman, but also a disaster. I have implicated everyone, Prince Yushu said apologetically. Lin Feng smiled and said, actually, they treat us as prey. Why don't we treat them as prey too? Lin Feng is right. Shui Yun nodded and said, other than training the teamwork and battle strength of the team, this is also a great opportunity for us to accumulate wealth. Other than Yushu, it is usually difficult for us to obtain Chaos Hole treasures, but now we have the best opportunity. At the Saint level, Cosmos crystals are no longer of much use. Only Chaos Hole treasures have true value. With the speed of Lin Feng and the other three, ordinary Silver Heart teams could not catch up to them. Only Saints could rely on spatial teleportation to catch up. This was also Shui Yun's intention. Although she had made up her mind to train the teamwork and battle strength of the team, the selection of opponents was still crucial. Silver Heart teams were almost all weaker than them. They did not have much experience value, and they did not have many treasures. Moreover, they had a lot of people. One team was not scary, but what about 10 or 100 teams? Fighting with them was purely a waste of time. After entering the second area, our opponents will all be Saints, Shui Yun said. To deal with Saints, the most important thing is to be able to seal spatial teleportation or use treasures, domains, or profound intents. In short, we have to have a way to deal with them. Otherwise, we will definitely lose. If you attack, the opponent will teleport away. They will appear behind you and counterattack. How can you win like this? There are many ways to deal with this. For example, Lin Feng could be restricted by the third level of Soul Power, Soul Domain. The True Dragon Saint Power's secret techniques, True Dragon Great Illusion, and Tai Chi True Dragon could also be restricted. In terms of battle strength, Lin Feng and Qin Qing were on par, but in terms of dealing with Saints, Lin Feng was obviously stronger. Not only that, Lin Feng's sensing ability was the strongest among the four. In the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, many technological items were useless, such as positioning compasses. Therefore, they could only rely on love affinity stones to determine each other's location. Sensing could only rely on the strength of one soul. This was also why Realm Force cultivators were especially popular when forming teams in the capital of empires. Whether it was sensing hidden enemies or exploring secret realms, Realm Force cultivators were much stronger than martial artists. At this moment, as the four were moving quickly, Lin Feng shivered. Ha! As Lin Feng stopped, Shui Yun and the others also stopped, following Lin Feng's lead. The four's division of labor was very clear. Hua! Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and he instantly activated Hate the Heaven State. The dark demonic color in his eyes became denser, and the 7 blue battle blade in his hand condensed lightning scarlet. Shua! 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 As Lin Feng released his power, Shui Yun, Qin Qing, and Prince Yushu prepared to fight at the same time. There was no need to say anything. The surrounding space rippled, and just as the figure appeared, Lin Feng's blade had already arrived with a tyrannical aura. Lightning Beast Blade Technique, Lightning Beast Claw. The swift and boundless lightning scarlet ignited Lin Feng's first battle in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Chapter 1350. Swish! Prince Yushu's eyes widened. Chinese network, even Shui Yun and Qin Qing were startled. They did not expect Lin Feng to be so decisive and to fight without hesitation. He didn't even see who was fighting. It was completely different from what they had expected. There was no need to mention Qin Qing. Even teacher, Shi Shui Yin did not have much experience in fighting to the death. The 7 empires were basically peaceful, and killing was forbidden in the star zones. Their experience came from the Milky Way Black Network, including Shui Yun. None of them had truly experienced life and death battles. No matter how realistic the Milky Way Black Network was, it was still different from reality. Real killing didn't make sense. Whoosh! Lin Feng's killing intent was shocking. It was mixed with a bit of a knife, heavenly way, which was comparable to the power of laws. During the Dongwang Genius Battle, he and Qin Xing, who both had the combat power of a lower-level saint. They were even close to becoming a middle-level saint. What? Huang Yushu, a lower saint who had just teleported with 10 silver heart martial artists, suddenly had a change in expression. A layer of khaki armor condensed on the chaotic whole profound treasure, the black stallion armor, and his defense instantly increased. However, the vigorous force still struck him heavily, and the momentum was astonishing. Bang! A crack appeared on Huang Yushu's dark stallion armor. His chest felt heavy, and he spat out blood as he was pushed back. His defense was good, but the other 10 silver heart warriors weren't so lucky. Whoosh! Whoosh! In the void, a wild behemoth released thunder and lightning. Streaks of cold light suddenly appeared. These silver heart-level martial artists, who were usually high and mighty, were directly beheaded with a single slash. They didn't even know how they died. How can this be? Huang Yushu was stunned. The pressure of death suddenly came. Huang Yushu didn't care about his injuries. He quickly retreated and was about to teleport. Suddenly, a golden light flashed and a golden dragon rose. The area around him changed. Light and shadows swirled, and streaks of saber chi surged from all directions. What was this place? While Huang Yushu was still in shock, the saber radiance had already exploded. Descending into the origin sea with the earth element of the 5 elements, his defense was indeed very strong after becoming a lower saint, but whether it was in terms of attack or combat power, they were all mediocre. Lin Feng was no weaker than a middle saint in terms of attack methods and attack power. Using one's own strength to attack the enemy's strength. Lin Feng was even better. No, I don't want to die. Huang Yushu's face was twisted with shock and unwillingness. He had never thought that he would die in the first district at the hands of an unknown Silver Heart realm martial artist. However, being restricted by the illusion and shrouded by the terrifying Thunderblade, he had no choice at all. Boom! As the blade fell, thunder and lightning raged, and the entire illusion disappeared. Lin Feng floated in the air, and in his hand was an earthen yellow armor. Although there was a crack, it did not damage the thick energy. Was it over? This was too fast. Prince Yushu's eyes widened in shock. Shui Yun and Qin Xing's auras had just burst out, wanting to help Lin Feng, but they had already stopped halfway. Because the battle was already over, they did not even have the chance to make a move. According to the rules, this armor is mine. Lin Feng smiled at the 3 of them and threw out a few storage rings. The universe crystals in these rings, you can split the other treasures. Only with rules could there be a circle. The 4 of them had already made it clear that the Chaos Whole Dark Treasure would belong to whoever killed it. One person would eat the meat, the others would drink the soup, and the other treasures would be split among the other 3. You can't do this, Prince Yushu mumbled. Lin Feng smiled. Then he put on the black stallion armor over the true dragon armor. One was an inner armor, and the other was an outer armor. Although the true dragon armor's defense was average, it was necessary to use the true dragon golden body. Although the black stallion armor was only an ordinary chaos whole dark treasure and could not be used together for the time being, its defense was already at the level of a lower saint. After all, it was an earth law treasure. Gritting her teeth, Qin Xing's eyes flashed and turned into stubbornness. Although she was now on the same team as Lin Feng, she still saw him as a competitor in her heart. Her defeat in the Dongwang Genius Battle was still fresh in her memory. I can't lose to him again, Qin Xing thought to herself. Shui Yun looked at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes. She was surprised and slightly happy. She nodded slightly. Maybe in terms of battle, Lin Feng is more suitable than me. With her experience and insight, she could naturally tell what Lin Feng's performance meant. This was a warrior who had been baptized by blood and slaughter. They were like flowers that grew up in a greenhouse. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was a tough and unyielding wild grass in the outside world. Sister Yun, you are too humble. I only have a little experience. Lin Feng was slightly humble. Suddenly his eyes focused, and he turned around. Sister Yun, to the left. As soon as he shouted, Lin Feng attacked to the right. This time, he sensed that there were two saints. Shui Yun, who was prepared, quickly showed her strength. Strong lightning shrouded the area and roared continuously. It turned into endless lightning and fell. The violent thunder magnetic field made a sizzling sound. The power of the profound meaning was undeniable. Facing a saint, Shui Yun was not afraid. Yuru's figure had a strong power. On the other side, Prince Yushu was like a sharp knife that stabbed out. On the other side, Qin Qing, and Lin Feng were fighting side by side. White lotuses bloomed and turned into endless light that shrouded the void. The heavenly way sword art, 1,000 layers of white lotus. Qin Qing, who had stepped into the silver heart level, was not weaker than Lin Feng in terms of strength. It was just that she lacked actual combat experience. However, her unyielding character allowed her to quickly adapt to this kind of battle. With Lin Feng by her side, the two of them quickly won the battle. Lin Feng's gaze landed not far away. Shui Yun and Prince Yushu had more or less secured their victory. Although the lower saint was still stubbornly resisting, it was only a matter of time before he was defeated. Sure enough, in less than 3 moves, the lesser saint let out an unwilling roar and was struck by boundless lightning, and he died a graveless death. After 2 consecutive victories, Lin Feng and the other 3 tasted the sweetness of victory. Although they did not have a powerful chaotic hole treasure, 3 ordinary chaotic hole treasures fell into their pockets. Lin Feng and Qin Qing killed the lower saint together. Lin Feng gave the ordinary chaotic hole treasure to Qin Qing. After all, he had already taken one. The next one is yours. Qin Qing, voice was gentle and very certain. She did not like to take advantage of others, especially Lin Feng. What if it's a powerful chaotic hole treasure? Lin Feng said with a smile. He knew what Qin Qing was thinking. But now that they were on the same team, there was too much competition and hostility. It was not a good thing. It's also yours. Qin Qing, who did not hesitate. Looking at Qin Qing's beautiful face, Lin Feng smiled and said no more. It would take a long time to resolve her hostility. To be continued. Chapter 1351. The second prince was with Qin Shun. This time, everyone's expression was much more solemn, including the 2 saints, Tai Wu and Huang Liang. Both of them looked solemn. Dozens of teams have been killed by them these days. There are at least 30 lower-level saints among them, Tai Zun said with a cold expression. Everyone sucked in their breaths. The lower saint Huang Mang's face was ashen. Although he was strong, he did not think he was stronger than the 30 lower saints. It's Shui Yun. Qin Chun gritted his teeth. She's as strong as a middle saint. Those lower saints are too stupid. They think she's easy to bully because she hasn't experienced real killing. The chief instructor of the Donghuang Empire is not to be trifled with. Huang Mang frowned. If she didn't insist on descending to the origin sea with the origin of thunder, she would be a lower saint now. Tai Wang said, "Let's wait and not act rashly." "Brother Tai, are you not sure?" Qin Shin asked. "I'm sure I can deal with Shui Yin." Tai Mu, the mid-level saint, paused and looked at Huang Liang. But Qin Qing, and Lin Feng are both comparable to lower-level saints. Huang Liang alone is not enough. To be safe, I've asked my senior brother to help me. Qin Chin's eyes lit up. Tai Taishan, a middle saint? The middle saint Tai Mu nodded his head. Senior brother and I are connected through the love stone. He'll be here in 2 days. He is stronger than me. With his help, we will have 100% confidence in dealing with Prince Yushu and his men. Great. That's great. Qin Shun was excited. Sister Yin can become a lower saint? Lin Feng and Qin Qing were surprised. Of course. Prince Yushu smiled. Why is my teacher named Shui Yinrun? Because she has a good understanding of the law of water. She descended to the origin sea with the origin of water, so she became a lower saint long ago. Lin Feng nodded. The pyramid of laws recognized by the lower laws made one a lower saint. Recognized by the middle laws made one a middle saint. After obtaining the recognition of the superior laws, one would become an upper saint. Wouldn't it be easier to become a lower saint and raise one's life level before cultivating the origin of thunder and gaining the recognition of the thunder law? Lin Feng was confused. It's not the same. Shui Yun shook her head lightly. Sister Yin, please tell me. Qin Qing said, when the origin seed descend for the first time, it will raise one's life level the most. At the same time, it will strengthen the body the most. Shui Yin paused for a moment and said softly, let's put it this way. It's like one is innate while the other is acquired. Although everyone's comprehension of the laws is the same, those who formed it innately have an advantage. Although I can make up for the day after tomorrow, it will waste a lot of time, energy, spiritual fruits, and treasures. Shui Yin looked at Qin Qing, and then at Lin Feng. If you only focus on the saint level, then it would be easier and more convenient for you to enter the black hole level. Many lower saints have done so. However, if we set our sights on the Saint King level, it would be best to use superior laws to obtain the recognition of the source energy. Especially you, Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Qin Qing, and Prince Yushu also looked at him. Shui Yun's voice was calm and indifferent. Your body foundation is the most terrifying I've ever seen. It's comparable to an upper saint. Don't enter the black hole level with inferior laws. Otherwise, you will regret it in the future. Lin Feng nodded. Thank you for the reminder, Sister Yin. Lin Feng thanked her. Most people would not care about you. They would rather you take the wrong path. Lin Feng, do you plan to obtain the recognition of the law of thunder? Shui Yun asked. I don't have a plan yet, but my thunder source cultivation has reached the 6th level at most. I have the path of cloud and thunder, the path of lightning, and the path of thunderstorm. I don't have the light element, and I have the path of dark demon at the 6th level. Lin Feng said, to obtain the recognition of the origin law, one must first have the path of origin at the 7th level. Only then could one condense the 7 paths of origin and communicate with the world. But your bloodline seems to have nothing to do with the thunder element, right? After fighting side by side for the past few days, Shui Yin was not the only one familiar with Lin Feng and the other two. Lin Feng and Qin Qing were also quite familiar with each other. Only when they were familiar with each other could they form a tacit understanding and improve the team's strength. Light and darkness. Lin Feng did not hide it. Shui Yun, Qin Qing, and Prince Yushu were all stunned. Prince Yushu's eyes widened. Light and darkness can coexist? I've never heard of it. Shui Yun shook her head. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes flashed. I thought your bloodline was only compatible with the dark element. Lin Feng smiled. His light path cultivation was indeed not high. Currently, he was using the path of dark demon and the heaven hatred form to strengthen the blade heavenly path. If that's the case, you'd better enter the black hole level with the path of darkness. Only then can you maximize your bloodline. A compatible bloodline will increase your strength even more. Shui Yun said. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Bloodline can be strengthened too? Shui Yun nodded. It's a process of mutual support. When you enter the black hole level for the first time and communicate with the laws of heaven and earth, you will receive a gift from the heavens. This is the only time. Every saint knows how to teleport. However, they did not comprehend it on their own. It's a gift from the heavenly path. In the universe, there are supreme rules that govern the universe. Lin Feng nodded deeply. He was still considering which path of origin to enter the black hole level. However, there was no need to think about it now. His bloodline was the body of light and darkness. Logically, he should enter the black hole level with either the great Tao of light or the great Tao of darkness. They complemented each other. According to Sister Yin, not only can I strengthen my body to the maximum and save a lot of time, but I can also strengthen my bloodline. This was what Lin Feng hoped for the most at the moment. His bloodline should not be so weak. Not to mention Shui Yun and Qin Qing. Even Prince Yushu's bloodline was much weaker. In the Origin Star world, bloodline accounted for a huge 20% increase in the spiritual sense distance. However, it did not even account for 5%. It was unbelievable. However, Lin Feng believed that his bloodline was not that simple. Earth was the highest level of 9-star life planet. It should be because my life seed is weak. That's why my bloodline is hidden so deeply and cannot be fully activated. However, it must be a very powerful bloodline. The terrifying figure of the black-haired giant appeared clearly in Lin Feng's mind. That was a transcendent existence that could really destroy the world. He had the same bloodline as him. In other words, his bloodline originated from him. Entering the black hole level is an excellent opportunity. With the gift from the heavenly path, I can definitely activate the bloodline that's buried deeply in my body. Lin Feng's eyes were bright and full of confidence. Activate a truly powerful bloodline. To be continued. Chapter 1352. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. Chinese network, how boring. No one has come to find trouble with us. Prince Yushu joked. Almost all the saints with ulterior motives have come. Those who did not come are probably scared out of their wits, Shui Yun said calmly. Most saints would not do such a thing. At least, they would not target their own people. Thanks to them, we have gained a lot. Qin Qing smiled. A pair of wings of light appeared on her back. It was one of the chaos profound treasures she had obtained. Although it was an ordinary chaos profound treasure, it was perfect. Not only did it save her time and energy, but it also strengthened her combat strength. With this pair of falcon light wings, Qin Qing, combat strength was on par with Lin Feng's. Qin Qing was not the only one with a treasure. Prince Yushu was also compatible with an ordinary chaotic cavern profound treasure. However, he already had 5 chaotic cavern profound treasures, so it did not matter if he had one more. As a prince of an empire, Prince Yushu had many privileges. Shui Yun had gained the most. This was because the warriors who had attacked them were basically low-level saints. They had relied on the 5 elemental laws to enter the black hole realm. Therefore, they had the most 5 elemental treasures. All the water-type chaos profound treasures, be it Lin Feng or Qin Qing, were exchanged with Shui Yun. 2 of them were perfectly compatible with Shui Yun, increasing her combat strength by about 50%. Shui Yun's attainments in the Tao of Water were extremely outstanding. The only one who did not gain anything was Lin Feng. He did not have many heaven and earth origins treasures. The only falcon light wings he had obtained was Lin Feng, but he could not be compatible with it. However, Qin Qing was compatible with it. Lin Feng was not stingy when he gave her a rose. He now had 19 ordinary chaos profound treasures, 1 more than Shui Yun and 5 more than Qin Qing. As for Prince Yushu, because he had not contributed much, he only had 7 ordinary chaos profound treasures. He already had 4 of them. He had gained a lot. Sister Yun, you said these ordinary chaos profound treasures would be useful when the time comes. What are they used for? Lin Feng asked curiously. Equivalent exchange. Shui Yun replied. There are quite a few saints who need ordinary chaotic cavern treasures because a saint usually only has 1 or 2 chaotic cavern treasures. It's far from enough. Lin Feng nodded. 1 weapon and 1 armor. The most basic of all, there are already 2. Attack type, defense type, control type, domain type, support type, special type, and so on. No one would complain about having too many good treasures. Strength was important, but treasures were also very important in battle. Treasures are also divided into different grades. Each grade is divided into 4 levels: supreme grade, high grade, middle grade, and low grade. Although we've gained a lot, most of them are low-grade, ordinary chaos treasures. Only a few, like Qing, falcon wings, and Lin Feng's savage force armor, are ordinary high-grade chaos treasures. The armor that Lin Feng was wearing now had been changed long ago. The ebony stallion armor had been severely damaged in the battle 2 days ago and was basically scrapped. After all, it was only an ordinary low-grade, chaos profound treasure. Normally, low-level law treasures were low-grade treasures. Only a few especially powerful treasures were rated as mid-grade treasures. High-level law treasures were high-grade treasures. Those with especially powerful power were supreme-grade treasures. Because of their different law powers, the treasure's power was different. In the second region, there's a place for trading. Among saints, the currency used is the void swallowing origin pearl. In the ancient myriad world's secret domain, the void swallowing origin pearl is commonly used. Shui Yin was indeed worthy of being teacher she. Void swallowing origin pearl? Not only was Lin Feng curious, but Qin Qing, and Prince Yushu were also curious. Shui Yin said indifferently, "You'll know when the time comes." Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Qin Qing pouted, "Sister Yun." Prince Yushu was furious. "Teacher, you can't keep us in suspense like this." After fighting side by side for more than 10 days, their relationship had improved greatly. Especially after going through battle after battle every day, they had gone through life and death together. Even the iceberg-like Shui Yun had become more approachable. The second prince, Qin Shun, was already prepared. They were like patient hunters, ready with their guns and waiting for their prey to reveal a flaw. The mid-level Saint Tai Chu's eyes lit up. The space in front of him shook, and a burly man as heavy as Mount Tai appeared. His upper body was covered in a layer of solid armor that emitted flames. His eyes were incomparably sharp, and his thick arms were comparable to the body of the second prince, Qin Shun. 4-star mid-level Saint Tai Taishan. Senior brother. The mid-level Saint Tai Chu cupped his hands and greeted respectfully. Both of them were from the same race, and their figures and appearances were very similar. Their voices were loud like bells, and they were as imposing as mountains. "Greetings, Saint." All the Silver Heart martial artists bowed. The second prince, Qin Shun, was overjoyed. With Senior Taishan's help, this will be a piece of cake. Taishan glanced coldly. "I'll take 50% of the spoils." "What?" The second prince, Qin Shen's expression suddenly changed. "Senior, this isn't good, right?" Taishan snorted, causing the second prince, Qin Shen's internal organs to churn. His face turned pale, and he said, "Who do you think you are? If you say another word, I'll kill you too." The second prince's face twitched, and he was dumbfounded. However, when his gaze landed on the cold face of the intermediate saint, Tai Luo, who he had been relying on, he understood everything. In the ancient myriad world secret territory, the identity of a prince was useless. How can this be? Seeing that even the low-level Saint Huang Mang went to flatter him, the second prince, Qin Shun, felt as if the sky had collapsed. In an instant, he felt as if he had lost everything. 1-star to 7-star? Lin Feng was deep in thought. Shui Yun nodded. It's a well-known ranking in the Milky Way Black Network. Silver Core and Silver Heart martial artists all have a ranking in the Milky Way arena. However, saints don't. Although they're all mid-level saints, their abilities can be very different. Some enter the black hole level with mid-level laws, while some become mid-level saints by comprehending low-level laws. However, their combat abilities are very different. Lin Feng nodded. After obtaining the recognition of both Yin and Yang Qi and achieving initial success in mid-level laws, one would become a mid-level saint. After obtaining the recognition of the 5 elements, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, one would become a low-level saint. After cultivating low-level laws from initial success to greater success, one would also become a mid-level saint. They were all mid-level saints, but their combat abilities were very different. 1-star is the weakest, while 7-star is the strongest, Shui Yun said. My combat ability was about that of a 2-star mid-level saint previously. With 2 ordinary chaos whole mystic treasures, I should be close to a 3-star mid-level saint now. What about me? Lin Feng was curious. Just as he was asking, Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed, and his eyes widened. He felt a chill run down his spine as he vaguely felt an extremely powerful aura approaching. Swoosh! Lin Feng instantly entered battle mode. To be continued. The novel updates quickly. There are few advertisements, and the chapters are complete. Chapter 1353. Very strong. This time, the enemy was stronger than the ones in the past 10 days. Middle-level Saint, Lin Feng shouted, accompanied by the appearance of the Thunderbolt Unicorn. Shui Yun and Qin Qing had a tacit understanding. The space in the distance shook violently, and suddenly 9 auras appeared. Among them, there were 3 Saint auras. This was not a sneak attack. Experienced warriors knew that spatial teleportation was not omnipotent. It was easy to go for wool and come home shorn, especially when facing opponents with outstanding senses. Lin Feng was one of them. The second prince, Qin Shun, and his group had been keeping an eye on Lin Feng and the other 3 ever since they entered the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Moreover, they did not need a sneak attack. 4-star middle-level saint, Tai Tai Shan. 3-star middle-level saint, Tai Meng. 4-star lower-level saint, Huang Meng. Absolute suppression of strength, especially Tai Tai Shan, a middle-level saint, who was equivalent to a 1-star upper saint. Lin Feng's group had a big gap in strength. Shui Yun, who was the strongest, was only close to a 3-star middle-level saint. However, there was no way out. In the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, the strength of a saint was maximized. With spatial teleportation, it was easy to chase or escape. Lin Feng and the other 3 scattered like fireworks following Shui Yun's gesture. When facing an opponent who was far stronger than them, it was stupid to fight together. Even if they could not win, at least one could escape. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 against 3. Tai Tai Shan did not hesitate at all as he charged towards Shui Yun. The strongest should naturally hunt down the strongest. Tai Meng was faster and chased after Qin Qing, who had the help of the falcon wings. As for Huang Meng, he went for Lin Feng. Second Prince Qin Shen's face was ferocious as he led 5 peak silver heart experts to attack Prince Yushu. The latter did not hesitate. His body paused for a moment before he ran away. Here they come. Lin Feng did not know these enemies, but he could sense them clearly. He knew that if he wanted to win this battle, he had to be the key. Whether it was Sister Yin, Qin Qing, or even Prince Yushu, they were all at a disadvantage. Especially Qin Qing, He and Qin Qing, were on par with each other in terms of strength, which was equivalent to a 4-star lower-level saint or a 1-star middle-level saint. She was definitely not a match for that medium saint. Clang! Lin Feng's 7th blue battle saber was instantly ignited and exploded. Facing the arrival of the Demon Clan expert, Lin Feng's eyes lit up and he suddenly roared. Lin Feng fused with the Nightmare Skull and maximized the Dark Devil form's 2nd state. After entering the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, Zhang Xian had already mastered it. Taiji True Dragon. Along with the activation of the heaven-hating form, Lin Feng's Realm Force secret technique originated from his teacher, the True Dragon Monarch's powerful secret technique. The Tai Chi True Dragon was one of the methods to restrain spatial teleportation, but Lin Feng did not use it often, because the risk was too great. Whoosh, the yin and yang 8 trigrams, 1 black and 1 white, formed the image of Tai Chi in the center of the Taiji diagram. A golden dragon roared and soared into the sky. The black and white Taiji diagrams quickly extended and spun rapidly. What? Huang Meng, a 4-star lower saint, was shocked. My body. His entire body was restricted. A suction force came from below and brought him into another world. The black and white Taiji diagrams materialized and formed barriers. It was as if he had entered a sealed arena. Advanced stage. After entering the advanced stage, the Tai Chi True Dragon no longer had any auxiliary attack abilities. It continued to evolve and only had one ability left: restraint. It was like a magnet that kept him in check. It pinned Lin Feng and Huang Meng firmly on the Taiji diagram and entered close combat. The risk was too great. Therefore, Lin Feng did not use it often. This was a move that he did not have an advantage over. He only used it to prevent his opponent from escaping. But now, what he needed to do was to seize the time. Not only did he need to win, but he also needed to win quickly. He needed to win faster than Captain Shui Yun and Qin Qing. This was his only chance. Whoosh, whoosh. Qin Qing, or his beautiful figure, was like a dancing butterfly. Rings of light flashed as Qin Qing, or changed her direction rapidly. She was already proficient in the path of light, so her speed was extremely fast. The falcon light wings gave her even more flexibility. Indeed, Tai Wang could teleport. However, Qin Qing was better when it came to small changes in direction. After entering the black hole level with the Tao of Yang, Tai Wang had extremely strong strength and defense. Although he had the speed of a middle-level saint, it was only ordinary. However, after all, he was a middle-level saint. Tai Wang knew his weakness very well. How could he not make up for it? Rise! Tai Wang directly used the power of the law. As the law of Yang lit up, a round weapon with sharp spikes in Tai Wang's hand suddenly shot into the sky. Thump! 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 Sharp spikes rained down from the sky, making it difficult for Qin Qing to dodge them. Her movements were hindered. The Thousand Light Marrow bloodline caused Qin Qing's movement technique to change rapidly. Suddenly, oh no, Qin Qing's beautiful face changed. The black, round, spiked containers fell to the ground, forming a formation like restriction. Spiked barriers condensed around her, surrounding her tightly. In an instant, the range of her evasion was reduced to the limit. Boom! Tai Wang punched. The entire space shook. His fist was extremely powerful, mixed with the power of the law of Yang. His gloves flashed with pure Yang Qi, showing his combat strength as a middle-level saint. Tai Wang had two ordinary chaos dark treasures. Qin Qing's sword was stronger, and her sword moves were more powerful. However, fighting Tai Wang was very similar to fighting Lin Feng. Her cultivation level was higher, but her opponent's body was stronger. He also had the power of the law that Lin Feng did not have, which was enough to destroy a trace of her heavenly sword Dao. The power of a saint clashed. The difference in quality made Qin Qing unable to continue. Her strength was inferior to Tai Wang's, not to mention her movements were restricted. Thousand-layer white lotuses bloomed. If she cultivated to the extreme, Qin Qing might be able to fight, but she had only cultivated to the 100th layer. Bang! She could dodge once, but she could not dodge 100 or even 1,000 times. The whole space was filled with the shadows of Tai Wang's fists. They were strong and fierce, breaking the Tao with force and crushing with the power of the law. Qin Qing did not even have a chance to attack. Her white dress was instantly dyed red. Am I going to lose? A thought came to Qin Qing's mind. But in an instant, crack, a majestic force came from outside, shattering the surrounding spikes. Tai Wang, who was standing like a giant stone, changed his expression, and his eyes became cold. Whoosh! A familiar male aura came. Qin Qing, who was flying backward, felt her body soften and was hugged. Her heartbeat quickened. She knew who had come to save her. He had come. Chapter 1354. Lin Feng's arrival immediately solved Qin Qing's problem. Omega in the previous battles, Qin Qing was the one who cooperated with Lin Feng the most. As Lin Feng broke the restriction of Tai Wang's chaotic hole treasure, Qin Qing flew freely like a bird freed from its cage. Qin Qing was not good at close combat. Her body was too weak. But Lin Feng was different. Although he was only at the silver heart level, Lin Feng's body was even stronger than Tai Wang's after being strengthened. Tai Wang's face turned serious. How can a silver heart level have such a strong body? Tai Wang was shocked. He had met many powerful cosmic system state demons, but none of them were as strong as Lin Feng. His body was stronger than his. He was a middle-level saint who had comprehended the law of Yang. Moreover, his body was strengthened by his bloodline. He could become a middle-level 3-star saint because his body was comparable to an upper-level saint. But now, there was a cosmic system state warrior who was comparable to him. The shock it brought to Tai Meng was enormous. But soon, Tai Wang returned to normal. His fist force became stronger because he realized that Lin Feng lacked the power of law. After all, he is only a cosmic system state. His Tao of origin is not even at level 7. Tai Wang regained his confidence. But at this moment, Lin Feng suddenly retreated. Qin Qing Er's sword turned into white lotuses and covered Tai Wang. Her sword contained the heavenly Tao of the sword, which was not the least bit inferior to Tai Wang's. Oomph. Tai Wang snorted. He was a little annoyed. He was a middle-level 3-star saint, but he had been entangled by 2 cosmic system states. He had lost his dignity. Tai Wang's fists were as heavy as mountains. He had absolute confidence in defeating Qin but this time it was different. Whoosh! Tai Wang's soul shook violently. The light in front of him suddenly changed. Oh no, an illusion. Tai Wang's face became more serious. Suddenly, rays of sword light shot from all directions. Lin Feng's true dragon great illusion affected Tai Wang, but it only benefited Qin. They attacked each other with great rapport. All of a sudden, Tai Mu's attack was restricted, and he could only defend himself. He had lost his advantage. Yan Bing of the true dragon realm. Lin Feng was waiting for an opportunity to attack. He did not participate in the battle directly. Qin alone was enough to deal with Tai Meng by relying on the real dragon great illusion. All he needed to do was to find Tai Meng's weakness and cooperate with him from the side. If the two of them attacked, it would instead cause chaos. Moreover, Lin Feng was very confident in the power of Qin's attacks. In terms of pure attack power, combined with the heavenly way of sword, the 1,000-layered white lotus, and the power of the natural law, Qin was comparable to a mid-level saint. All she needed was support. It would allow her to attack without worrying about defense, and it would also strengthen her attack power. On this point, Lin Feng did it perfectly. Furthermore, after all, Lin Feng was slightly injured. Although he managed to kill Huang Meng, he was not in a good condition either. After all, his opponent was a 4-star lower saint and was definitely not easy to deal with. His and Qin's combat power was at the level of 4-star lower-level saints, which was equivalent to a 1-star middle-level saint. However, their tacit cooperation could strengthen themselves and weaken their opponents at the same time. Tai Meng's weakness was too obvious. Moreover, in terms of chaotic dark treasures, he and Qin were completely superior to Tai Meng. Under the repeated attacks, Tai Meng was badly injured, and the real dragon great illusion especially affected him severely. When Tai Meng broke out of the illusion, he was already at the end of his rope. Bang! Tai Meng gritted his teeth, and his body was covered in blood. When he broke out of the real dragon great illusion, he immediately used spatial teleportation to escape. However, Lin Feng would not give him the chance. The Tai Chi real dragon appeared instantly. Fight! Lin Feng, who had been supporting Qin, started the final battle with Tai Meng. He glanced at Qin, and the latter understood. After more than 10 days of cooperation, a look was enough. Qin turned into a beam of white light and went straight to where Captain Shui Yun was. Although her white dress was stained with blood, Qin's beautiful face was determined. A team must have a cohesive force. If they wanted to fight, they would fight to the end. Nightmare Skull. Lin Feng's eyes were as red as blood. The power of the powerful, chaotic dark treasure was unleashed to the extreme, and the 6-fold path of Dark Demon reached its peak. The second form of hating heaven made Lin Feng even more bloodthirsty and crazy. Combined with the Tai Chi real dragon, Lin Feng and Tai Meng started to fight to the death. At this time, it was not only strength that was competing, but also fighting spirit, unyielding tenacity, and even craziness. One strike. Although he was covered in blood, Lin Feng did not step back. The giant devil figure behind him became clearer and clearer. Lin Feng was completely immersed in the Nightmare Skull state, and his understanding of the path of Dark Demon was extremely profound. As his strength evolved again and again, Lin Feng's combat strength reached the peak again and again. How could this be? Tai Meng's face was pale. He was already at the end of his rope. Facing the young man in front of him, who was like a demon, not only was his momentum completely overwhelmed, but he also felt that he was at the end of his rope. I'm a 3-star intermediate saint. Tai Meng was hysterical, his eyes filled with unwillingness. But at this time, the blood-red light in the young man's eyes intensified. His path of dark demon had reached its peak, and his combat strength had a trace of law power. Dark magic law. No! Tai Meng's eyes were filled with fear and shock as he was instantly drowned in the sea of sabers. Boom! A 3-star intermediate saint was killed. Lin Feng held the 7 blue battle saber, looking like a dark red demon. At this time, he was perfectly compatible with a nightmare skull. A crazy power flowed through his body, and it was difficult to control. Pa! Pa! Lin Feng clenched his fists so tightly that his veins popped out. Don't even think about affecting me. Lin Feng's teeth were bleeding from his clenched teeth, but the light in his eyes was even brighter. Although the blood filled his eyes, it did not affect his mind. Even the powerful, chaotic dark treasure could not affect him at all. Finally, my path of dark demon cultivation has reached the peak of origin cultivation. Lin Feng did not stop as he rushed toward Captain Shui Yun. 7-fold path of dark demon. His path of origin cultivation had reached its peak, and it was perfectly compatible with the nightmare skull. Even so, the nightmare skull could only wield the power of an ordinary chaotic dark treasure. Dark magic law. While increasing Lin Feng's path of dark demon, it also increased the power of Lin Feng's path of dark demon. After increasing his path of origin cultivation by 1 level, it would become law power. This was the dark magic law. Although it was not a true law power, it was still a superior law. Lin Feng, whose strength had reached its peak, could kill Tai Meng even in a one-on-one battle, not to mention that Tai Meng was already heavily injured. We're definitely going to win this battle. Lin Feng could already see the 2 heavily injured women who were being forced to retreat step by step not too far away. His current combat strength was comparable to a 4-star intermediate saint. Chi! Lin Feng's saber, which was infused with the power of dark demon, came crashing down. Chapter 1355. How is this possible? Shui Yun and Qin Qing. Er's eyes were filled with shock. It was hard for them to believe what they saw, but it really happened in front of them. Lin Feng fought against Tai Shan, a medium saint of 4 stars, by himself. Tai Shan was a famous figure in the Dongwang Empire. But now, he was locked in a fight with an unknown warrior of the Silver Heart level. Tai Shan's old face was very ugly. Tai Shan roared, and a horrible aura shrouded the area. However, he was fighting against Lin Feng, whose battle intent had reached its peak. Lin Feng had killed Huang Liang, a lower saint of 4 stars, and Tai Shan, a medium saint of 3 stars. Both his battle intent and battle intent were at its peak. As for his injuries, it was never a problem for Lin Feng. Beasts were the strongest when they were injured. Lin Feng was the same after experiencing so many bloody battles. He was able to escape from death every time. Because of this characteristic, he became stronger when he met a strong opponent. He was unyielding. Sometimes, character was even more important than strength. Qin Qing, and Shui Yun couldn't help at all. Qin Qing, pursed her lips, and her heart was beating fast. After she was defeated by Lin Feng in the Dongwang Genius Battle, she had been practicing hard until now. She was better than Lin Feng. After she met Lin Feng again, she competed with him secretly. But as teammates, they cooperated better and better, and she knew more about Lin Feng's strength. He was really strong. It was the first time that Qin Qing met a genius who was as talented as her, or even stronger than her. She also knew that Lin Feng didn't beat her by luck, because her strength was equal to Lin Feng's after she merged with the Swan Wings. But in just a few days, Lin Feng had completely surpassed her. He was even far behind her. If she met Tai Shan, a medium saint of 4 stars, one-on-one, Qin Qing knew that she would be defeated within 10 moves. But now, Tai Shan was actually being suppressed by Lin Feng. How can he improve so quickly? Qin Qing, jade-like hand that was holding the sword trembled slightly. Her beautiful eyes stared at the battle, and her emotions were in turmoil. Breathe in. On the side, Shui Yun closed her eyes, seizing the time to recover her strength. even if it was just a tiny bit. Qin Xing could not do anything, but Shui Yun could assist Lin Feng. Her slightly curved lips carried a trace of joy. She had thought that she was going to die here, as she was not Tai Shan's opponent. She had only hoped to stall for enough time for Lin Feng and the other two to escape. He never thought that the situation would turn out like this. They actually had a chance to win. Shua! Shui Yun's beautiful eyes opened as streaks of watery light transformed into water droplets that shot towards the center of the battle between Lin Feng and Tai Shan. This was her Chaos Cavern mystic treasure, Tender Water Years, a domain-type treasure. Although she had never cooperated with Lin Feng before, Shui Yun was well-versed in all the characteristics of the Tao of Origin. She was the chief instructor of the Dongwang Empire. A silver heart had the combat power of a 3-star intermediate saint. Naturally, she was not careless. Many soft water vortexes, like the gentle strokes of a beautiful woman, instantly created quite a lot of trouble for Tai Shan. The scales that were originally balanced gradually tilted towards Lin Feng's side. However, Tai Shan was, after all, a 4-star intermediate saint, and his strength was much stronger than Tai Zun's. Besides, although Lin Feng's battle intent was at its peak, his strength was not enough. Next time, I will definitely take your lives. Tai Shan roared as he turned into a bloody mist and fled in a panic. As a 4-star intermediate saint, he had his own means to protect himself. In fact, it was not easy to kill an intermediate saint who could survive in the second zone. As Tai Shan fled, the battle came to an end. Second Prince Qin Shun and the 5 Silver Heart experts were no longer a threat. Qin Xing alone could kill them all. Why bother, second brother? Prince Yushu sighed softly and said regretfully, "You brought the wolf into the house. Even if you help Tai Shan to kill us all, you can't escape death. As a member of the Emperor's family, can't you see this?" Although they were ruthless to each other, after all, the same blood flowed in their bodies. Qin Yushu had mixed feelings about Qin Shen's death. This is why the monarch chose you as the crown prince instead of him. Shui Yun said the truth. Prince Yushu showed a bitter smile. Looking at Lin Feng and the other two who were covered in blood, he suddenly said in surprise, "We won. Tai Zun and Huang Li were killed, and Tai Shan fled," Shui Yun said. 3-star intermediate Saint Tai Zun and 4-star intermediate Saint Tai Shan. Prince Yushu opened his eyes wide and stared at Shui Yun. "Teacher, you are too strong. How could you win against such opponents?" Shui Yun shook her head and looked at Lin Feng. "The one who defeated them was not me. It was Lin Feng." "Brother Lin?" Prince Yushu was stunned. Qin Xing's beautiful eyes sparkled. Lin Feng defeated Tai Shan one-on-one. Damn, no way. It was a tough battle. But usually, such battles would bring great benefits. Needless to say, Lin Feng had broken through to the path of Dark Demon during the battle with Tai Meng and unlocked the Nightmare Skull's compatibility password, causing his strength to jump from a 1-star middle saint to a 4-star saint, surpassing Captain Shui Yun in one fell swoop. Qin Xing's understanding of the 1,000-layered White Lotus had deepened. After recovering from her injuries, her strength had increased quickly, surpassing that of a 1-star intermediate saint. Captain Shui Yun and Prince Yushu had not improved, but they had gained a lot. The second prince, Qin Shun, was also a moving treasure trove. He had a top-grade Chaos Hold Dark Treasure, 8 powerful Chaos Hold Dark Treasures, and 16 ordinary Chaos Hold Dark Treasures. He was richer than Prince Yushu. In addition, Huang Liang had 1 Chaos Hold Dark Treasure, and Tai Zun had 2 ordinary Chaos Hold Dark Treasures. Lin Feng and the others had made a fortune from this battle. According to the rules, take the compatible treasures. We will distribute them after the compatibility is complete. Captain Shui Yun's bright eyes swept across everyone. Lin Feng, Qin Xing, and Prince Yushu nodded. It was the same every time, but this time there were a lot of spoils. A total of 28 chaotic cavern treasures fell between the 4 of them, dazzling everyone's eyes. Moreover, the chaotic cavern treasures that second Prince Qin Shun had brought were practically all of the low grade. After all, they were all products of the imperial family. Haha, I won't stand on ceremony. Prince Yushu was the first to sense it. He took an ordinary chaos whole dark treasure that looked like an elephant's tusk. I'll take it. Qing took a powerful chaos whole dark treasure. Captain Shui Yin also took an ordinary chaos whole dark treasure. Lin Feng carefully sensed the 28 chaos whole dark treasures. The one he sensed the most was an ordinary light elemental chaos whole dark treasure, which he took. Then, he took an ordinary dark elemental chaos whole dark treasure. The next moment, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 1356. It was a black spiral-shaped treasure that resembled a spring. It was one of the 8 powerful chaos dark treasures. It looks like no one will compete with me for a dark elemental treasure. Lin Feng took it and said with a smile. Sister Yun specialized in lightning elemental, Qing was light elemental, and Prince Yushu was wind elemental. Soon, everyone finished taking their treasures. Lin Feng took the most. He took 2 ordinary chaos dark treasures and 1 powerful chaos dark treasure. Qing took 1 ordinary chaos dark treasure and 1 powerful chaos dark treasure. Shui Yun and Qin Yushu took 2 ordinary chaos dark treasures. Out of the 28 chaos dark treasures, 1 top-grade chaos dark treasure, 6 powerful chaos dark treasures, and 12 ordinary chaos dark treasures were left. As everyone was lacking in strength, they usually only took ordinary chaos dark treasures. Powerful chaos dark treasures were typically compatible with saints. As for top-grade chaos dark treasures, they were mostly compatible with sacred monarchs. This top-grade chaos dark treasure will be given to Lin Feng. Does anyone have any objections? Said Shui Yun. Qing shook her head gently. Prince Yushu laughed. Brother Lin deserves it. Take it. Shui Yun placed the only top-grade chaos dark treasure in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded and accepted it without hesitation. 6 powerful chaos dark treasures. Shui Yun pondered for a moment. Lin Feng, Qing, and I will each take 2. Does anyone have any objections? Instantly, everyone's gaze landed on Prince Yushu. Don't look at me. I have no objections. Prince Yushu spread his hands and smiled. I really didn't do much. If you really gave it to me, I would feel embarrassed. Besides, I already have enough powerful chaos dark treasures. Prince Yushu had a total of 4 powerful chaos dark treasures. He had the most among everyone. However, that was only in the past. With each person taking 2 powerful chaos dark treasures, Lin Feng and Qing each had 5 powerful chaos dark treasures. Even Shui Yun had 3. Shui Yun nodded gently. As the captain, she had to be impartial and not be biased. Lin Feng should take the biggest share, so the top-grade chaos dark treasures would go to him. A single top-grade chaos cavern treasure was worth more than 10 powerful chaos cavern treasures. Next, there are 12 ordinary chaos dark treasures. Each person gets 3. Shui Yun said directly. Naturally, there was no objection this time. As the saying goes, when everyone eats meat, Prince Yushu should also drink some soup. However, to him, whether or not he obtained a chaotic, cavern mysterious treasure was actually not that important. Ancient Myriad World Secret Territory, Zone 2. Teacher. Tai Shan's tall and sturdy figure appeared. His stone-like face looked a little weak. Although he had been recovering for more than 10 days, he had only recovered about 80% of his battle strength. In front of Tai Shan was a green-haired old man. Even his eyebrows were green, and his eyes were strange to the extreme. He was one of the 7 grand elders of the Golden Lion sect, Elder Green Eyebrows. Are you serious? Elder Green Eyebrows' voice was hoarse, as cold as a ghost's. Tai Shan said angrily, Yes, teacher. Prince Yushu's group has at least 2 top-grade chaos dark treasures and more than 10 powerful chaos dark treasures. The royal family is indeed rich. Even the Nebula-level brats have top-grade chaos dark treasures. Most of the saints of the Golden Lion sect only have 1 or 2 ordinary chaos dark treasures. Elder Green Eyebrows said coldly. The Golden Lion sect was the 3rd-tier force in the Dongwang Empire. In the Dongwang Empire, there was only one first-tier force, which was the 100 Saints Martial Hall. There were 3 second-tier forces, which were the Myriad Demon's Palace, the Demon God Temple, and the Dongwang Valley. Then there was the 3rd tier. As long as teacher makes a move, it will be a piece of cake. Tai Taishan said flatteringly. Good. Elder Green Eyebrows shouted coldly. His old eyes flashed. If I can capture and kill them, you will be credited. Take these treasures and exchange them for the void-swallowing vital orb. I will have the hope of breaking through the boundary and becoming a Saint King. The 5th divine envoy of the sect. Tai Taishan bowed. Teacher, you will get what you want. Tai Taishan knew clearly that he could not kill Prince Yushu and the others. Instead, he would be hated. If they met again, it would be a life-and-death battle. The image of Lin Feng's crazy and murderous look appeared in his mind. Tai Taishan could not help but shudder. He had never fought with such a powerful Nebula-level saint. His combat power was comparable to that of a 1-star upper-level saint. Even the top 10 kings of the arena were not as powerful. However, those 10 were all old monsters who had cultivated to become demons. None of them were as young as Lin Feng. I must kill him. Tai Taishan was furious. He felt an inexplicable fear when he thought that Lin Feng would break through and become a saint. By then, how powerful would Lin Feng be? In the first zone, after the fierce battle and the loot were divided, Lin Feng and the other 3 discussed their next itinerary. Because there was a new proposal. What do you think of Lin Feng's proposal? Captain Shui Yun glanced at Qin Xing, and Prince Yushu. As the captain, she did not take charge of everything. Although she had 2 votes, Shui Yun rarely used them. Basically, as long as Lin Feng and the other 2 made a decision, she would go along with it. Shui Yun knew very well that the 3 people in the team were all geniuses. Even Prince Yushu, who was completely outclassed, was only ignored because Qin Xing, and Lin Feng were too dazzling. Especially Lin Feng. It's good to find a place to rest. Prince Yushu shrugged. I'm too weak, and I'm always dragging everyone down. I need to cultivate. Qin Xing, pursed her lips and pondered. Lin Feng looked at everyone. We underestimated the value of the treasures. Today, a 4-star intermediate saint came to rob us. In the future, there will be 5-star, 6-star intermediate saints, and even upper-level saints. But next time, we may not be so lucky. We've got countless holy treasures this time. Each of us has at least 2 chaotic treasures, but we can't use them because we don't have time. If we have a few years of cultivation, our strength will be improved. I know your concerns. After all, we've been here for 30 years, and we don't have much time. But because of this, we don't need to rush. If we want to do a good job, we must sharpen our tools. If we want to go further, the 4 of us must become stronger. Today, Lin Feng's words carried enough weight. In the Dongwang Empire, strength was the right to speak. Lin Feng's strength had surpassed Shui Yun's and became the strongest one in the team. I agree. Qin Xing was convinced by Lin Feng and nodded gently. Shui Yun nodded. We've been in the limelight this time. It's hard to guarantee that we won't be targeted, especially Tai Taishan. He is a member of the Golden Lion sect. With his vengeful personality, he is likely to ask for help now. It's the right decision to hide and rest. Everyone agreed. Let's study the hidden place together. Okay, to be continued. Chapter 1357. Lin Feng would not let victory get to his head. The tallest tree in the forest would be destroyed by the wind. After entering the ancient thousand-world secret dimension, they had earned a lot. Now, the 4 of them had 78 chaotic whole treasures. These were chaotic whole treasures. In the Dongwang Empire, even a big force or a big family might not have so many chaotic whole treasures. Even an upper-level saint would covet them, let alone a middle-level saint. But that was not the most important thing. It was that they were weak. If a Saint King expert had these treasures, who would dare to covet them? However, they were only Silver Heart level martial artists. Hiding their strength and temporarily avoiding danger was the best decision. Fortunately, there were no map coordinates in the ancient thousand-world secret dimension, so it was difficult to determine the location. There was no large-scale communication, so it was extremely difficult to search. Therefore, it was very convenient to hide. This is Bingling Cliff. Shuaiyan brought everyone here. Lin Feng stood at the top of the cliff and looked down. A dense fog not only blocked his vision, but the dense white fog emitted by the Black Spirit Cliff also covered his aura. There were no secrets in the first area. Bingling Cliff had been marked long ago, and all the treasures had been taken away. But Lin Feng and the others did not care. How valuable were the treasures in the first area? Their harvest this time was enough. The area of Ingling Cliff is very large, and the dense white fog can conceal our aura even more. We only need to open up a shelter on the cliff covered in white fog. Unless it's a very purposeful search, they won't be able to find us. Shuaiyan was very experienced. Even if we are discovered, as long as we have a few more escape routes in the shelter, there will be no worries, Prince Yushu said. It will be very difficult to find us if we escape into the dense white fog. As a temporary shelter, there's nothing to be picky about here. Qin Xing'er's beautiful eyes swept over. It's very close to the second area. The tearing force of the black hole is less than 1,000th. The black hole's energy can easily withstand it. Cultivation will be twice the result with half the effort. This is it. Lin Feng nodded. Everyone was very satisfied. They jumped off the cliff and turned into 4 streams of light. They waved goodbye and promised to meet again in 10 years. The 4 of them were not worried about not being able to find each other. The love stones were connected like small communicators. Whoosh! Lin Feng leaped into the depths of the dense white fog, but he didn't investigate too carefully. If there was any secret here, it would have been discovered long ago. A wisp of oblivion origin energy rose from his right hand as Lin Feng headed straight for a place deep within the cliff. Screech! The Python of Darkness had no energy to cut through mountains and rocks, so it was extremely efficient. Lin Feng was careful and chose an overlapping position at the entrance, which was the intersection between the 2 hanging walls. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to find it, especially since Lin Feng had made the entrance extremely small. After traveling tens of thousands of miles, Lin Feng gradually increased the volume of his voice. 500,000 kilometers further into Rio, almost reaching the depths of the Black Spirit Cliff, Lin Feng finally stopped and casually opened up a cave about 10,000 meters wide as a resting place. He didn't stop. Just in case, he had to put in more effort. Lin Feng retraced his steps and opened up a fork in a maze. As the saying goes, a crafty rabbit has 3 burrows. He only needed to do a little bit of work to make himself safe, so why not? In just 3 days, Lin Feng had completed the maze that was like an ant's nest. Wisps of dense white mist passed through the gaps and gradually entered the passage. It was like adding flowers to brocade, making the entire maze even more perfect. We'll spend the next 10 years here. Lin Feng nodded with satisfaction. Shuaiyan, Qin Xing, and Prince Yushu all settled down. Second Prince Qin Shun had given them such a big gift. Together with the ordinary, chaotic, profound treasures they had obtained before, the 4 of them were armed to the teeth. Qin Xing, and Shuaiyan especially benefited the most. To Prince Yushu, the continuous slaughter in the ancient myriad world secret realm was more of an improvement in his spirit. He had truly witnessed the cruelty of the universe. Even a prince would be at the mercy of others if he didn't have enough strength, just like Second Prince Qinshin. Become stronger. These 10 years are my chance to catch up with Brother Lin and the others. I have to become stronger. Under Prince Yushu's cheerful appearance was a hard-working and tenacious heart. He would never admit defeat. To be appointed as the crown prince by Qin Wushu, he wasn't an ordinary person. He also had his own pride. Prince Yushu had been tempered together with Lin Feng and the others, allowing him to grow rapidly. In addition, he had many powerful chaos hole profound treasures. It could be said that everything was ready except for the east wind. On the other side, Qin Xing's beautiful face was full of desire. She clearly remembered what she had said at the end of the Dongwang genius battle. Let's fight again in 100 years. If I lose, everyone in the Dongwang Empire can testify. I, Qin am willing to marry Lin Feng. Qin Xing, who was determined to improve herself. She didn't want to lose. Qin Xing, Er's big eyes shone. She didn't know why, but when she thought of Lin Feng, she didn't want to admit defeat anymore. She even didn't care about the promise of 100 years. There was even another voice in her heart. No way. Qin Xing, Er's face suddenly turned red. Even she was shocked. She hurriedly shook her head and said, "No way. It's definitely impossible. It's only because he's my teammate now. He saved me and we work well together. That's why I feel this way." Yes, it must be. Qin Xing, forced herself to calm down and took a breath. As she stood up, the sword in her hand flashed with a few beams of light, which then turned into white lotuses. Qin Xing, instantly regained her usual calmness and purity. Her sword thrust was just like her determination. 10 years later, I'll be stronger than him. Qin Xing, beautiful eyes flashed. In the first area, it was hard to calm down. Elder Green Eyebrows, an upper-level saint of the Golden Lion sect, led a group of saints to search for Lin Feng and the other three. They teleported again and again, covering a large area. They even guarded every passage. However, Lin Feng and the other three seemed to have suddenly disappeared. They couldn't find them. After searching for a few months, they still found nothing. Elder Green Eyebrows was furious. He vented his anger by killing a lot of cosmic system warriors. Tai Shan, who started it all, was scolded badly. That little bastard must be hiding somewhere, Elder Green Eyebrows said in a sinister voice. His voice was twisted like an evil spirit's. The saints below didn't dare to say anything. They were afraid of angering Elder Green Eyebrows. You can hide, but you can't hide. This bastard, don't enter the second area if you dare. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. Elder Green Eyebrows gritted his teeth and sneered. Damn it, I wasted so much time. Then he glared at Tai Shan. The latter's heart turned cold, and he lowered his head. Let's go back, Elder Green Eyebrows said through gritted teeth. His face was ashen. Chapter 1358. Black Spirit Cliff. Black Evil Heavy Hoop. Lin Feng shouted as the black spiral-shaped, spring-like treasure in his hand instantly appeared. It expanded in the void like a spring disintegrating, transforming into a black snake that bit out. Darkness type, a powerful chaos whole mystic treasure. This was the only powerful chaos whole mystic treasure that Lin Feng had obtained from Second Prince Qinshin. It combines attack and control. It's indeed not bad. Lin Feng retracted it in satisfaction. It was a treasure with many functions. It was often more adaptable in battle. However, he still couldn't unleash the full combat strength of this powerful chaos whole mystic treasure. He couldn't even unleash 10% of it. To unleash the power of a chaos whole mystic treasure, I have to first reach the black hole level. Lin Feng knew. Most chaos whole mystic treasures required the resonance of nomological powers to be used. For example, the Seven Blue Saber and Nightmare Skull. Nightmare Skull could unleash greater power. After all, it had cultivated the Dark Fiend Origins Tao to the extreme. However, the Seven Blue Saber was still far from it. If a powerful chaos whole mystic treasure could unleash its full power, it would be rather terrifying. For example, the Nightmare Skull was only a small demonstration of its prowess, but had allowed Lin Feng's strength to cross a huge level. He had directly defeated a 4-star intermediate saint. This was evident. Laws. Lin Feng sighed. The distance was very close, but it was also a little far. When his Dark Fiend Tao reached the extreme realm of the 7th level, he could already condense and communicate with heaven and earth. He could obtain the recognition of the Origin's energy and descend to the Origin's sea to obtain the blessings of heaven. However, the prerequisite was the Origin Star Realm had to be raised to the limit first. Currently, his Origin Star Realm's perception distance was still very far away. The 7th level of Origin's cultivation is a threshold. Breaking through the 7th level and descending to the Origin's sea is another threshold. Lin Feng knew very well that it was very difficult to reach the limit of anything. Typically, as long as one's perception wasn't too bad, one could rely on time to make up for the gap and comprehend it. However, the 7th level wasn't enough. Without sufficient origins, compatibility, and top-notch perception, it was impossible to raise one's origins cultivation to the limit. One required hard work, while the other required sufficient talent. 6th level of origin cultivation, origin star realm increased to 10 million psyche distance. Peak 7th level quintessence cultivation base. The perception distance of the origin star realm has increased to 333. 3 million. Lin Feng was very clear. In theory, as long as one could cultivate their 3rd level of origin to the peak, they would be able to reach the black hole level without the enhancement of the Heart Force bloodline. But it was easier said than done. In the previous battle, if it weren't for the fact that I was in a state of absolute death and the powerful Chaos Hole treasure, Nightmare Skull, I wouldn't have been able to raise my Tao of Darkness to the 7th level in such a short period of time. I won't be so lucky every time. Lin Feng had asked Shui Yun before. Normally, when a Silver Heart expert filled up the Origin Star realm, they would cultivate their target's origin source cultivation to the limit of the 7th level, and then raise their other origin Tao to the 6th level. This was the standard way to increase one's psyche distance. 6 levels of origin stage didn't increase his spiritual perception by much. Each origin stage only increased his spiritual perception by 10 million, but there was still a lot of it. This was especially true for the 5 elemental Taos of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Every single Tao of quintessence had 6 different quintessences. If he could cultivate all of them to the maximum, he would have 300 million spiritual perception. Together with 1 origin stage quintessence, it would be enough. Even his teacher, the true Dragon Monarch, used this method. This was because it was easier to cultivate and comprehend inferior laws and inferior origins, even if they weren't compatible. This was because these could be achieved through research and hard work. However, it required time. The effect of cultivating here is extremely good. It's more than 10 times better than outside. Lin Feng thought to himself. I will soon explore the 2nd district. It will be quite dangerous there. Overall, it's best to have a true dragon clone. I'll split 50 souls, half for cultivation, and the other half for experiential learning. Although his combat strength had been halved, Lin Feng was confident that he could still match a 4-star intermediate saint. This was enough. After all, his strength was insignificant in the 2nd district. There wasn't much difference between having his combat strength and not having his combat strength. If he were to be hunted down by an upper saint, he would die. Therefore, it was necessary to leave a way out. It's decided then. Lin Feng immediately condensed a true dragon clone. He planned to leave this true dragon clone here to cultivate the true dragon heart refining path. Originally, it would take at least a few hundred years to open the 4th aperture and reach the Silver Heart level. But here, I will definitely be able to break through in at least 10 years, or at most a few decades. Opening the 4th aperture and reaching the Silver Heart level would also increase his spiritual perception by a considerable amount. This was much easier than comprehending the other origin stage quintessence. 10 years' time was just a snap of a finger for a martial artist. On Bingling Cliff, Lin Feng wasn't the first to arrive. Looking at Shui Yun, who was dressed in white and whose figure was faintly discernible in the clouds, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. Sister Yun, you're early. You're not late either. Shui Yun looked over with her bright eyes. She was slightly surprised, but she quickly returned to normal. She felt that Lin Feng's aura seemed to have weakened a little. Her strength was like Shui Yun's, and her senses were very sensitive. Lin Feng was the same. When he saw Sister Yun again after 10 years, not only was she more otherworldly, but she also contained an explosive power that hadn't been there before. Congratulations, Sister Yun, for fusing with the powerful Chaos Hole dark treasure. Your strength has greatly improved, Lin Feng said with a smile. Shui Yun nodded slightly. Compared to your improvement, my improvement isn't that great. You should be comparable to Iron Mountain, Lin Feng said. After a slight hesitation, Shui Yun nodded. More or less. Shui Yun was originally a 3-star intermediate saint. After fusing with the powerful chaos whole dark treasure, she could unleash part of its power. It was normal for her strength to reach the level of a 4-star intermediate saint. The two chatted casually for a while. Soon, a third figure jumped out. Lin Feng and Shui Yun both exclaimed in surprise, and their eyes lit up. Her elegant figure was like a fairy. Her pair of phoenix eyes were like a painting, lively like pearls of amber. Her palm-sized face was delicate and delicate. The sword in her hand emitted a white light, containing an extreme amount of energy. Her entire temperament was completely different from 10 years ago. Qing, your bloodline is broken through? Captain Shui Yun was pleasantly surprised. Qing revealed a lotus-like smile and nodded slightly. She waved her jade-like hand, and circles of light spread out strangely. The light origin element in her hand was like a child, and it was very obedient. With another wave of her hand, strands of light appeared and circled around her, making her look even more beautiful. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Lin Feng, and a faint smile appeared on her face. At this moment, Qing was like a child showing off her new clothes. She was very cute. Circles of light and rays of light. Both of her origin Dao have reached the peak of the 7th level. Lin Feng was also shocked. Although he thought that Qing might have improved greatly in the past 10 years, he didn't expect it. It was so shocking. Not yet. To be continued. Chapter 1359. The three of them chatted for a while before Lin Feng found out what had happened to Qing. The evolution of her bloodline was like a seed of potential that had sprouted in her body. Qing's light marrow, which was already outstanding, had reached the extreme. Even her light ring had broken through and reached the limit. Like dominoes, one move would affect the rest. After condensing the Tao of light, the powerful chaos mystic treasure, Calabash lightsaber, had a deeper affinity with it. The advancement of the Tao of Halo also made it more compatible with a powerful chaos mystic treasure. Her overall strength had increased. Qing had surpassed Captain Shui Yun. Now, her strength was comparable to a 5-star intermediate saint. Or rather, she was a 2-star upper saint. Lin Feng was happy for Qing. They were teammates, and the stronger the team, the better. Moreover, Qing's increase in strength was unexpected, but it was also expected. With her talent, it was only a matter of time before she broke through. The ancient 1,000-world secret dimension was an excellent place to cultivate. Now that we have entered the second area, our combat strength should not be too bad. Lin Feng smiled. Compared to 10 years ago, when they had just arrived in the ancient 1,000-world secret dimension, everyone's strength had changed greatly. Shui Yun nodded. Most of the people who are active in the second area are lower and intermediate saints. The strongest here is a 4-star upper saint. Lin Feng nodded. A 4-star upper saint's combat strength was comparable to a Saint King. Elder Sister Yun had mentioned before that the third area was the territory of Saint King Grade Masters. I wonder if Prince Yushu has made a breakthrough in the past 10 years. Lin Feng was also looking forward to it. It's a bit difficult. Qing rubbed her delicate nose. Yushu isn't bad. Have some confidence in him. Shui Yun spoke. Her bright eyes stared into the distance as she nodded lightly. He's here. Within the clouds, a silhouette appeared, causing everyone to be startled. Lin Feng looked at the black-armored man in front of him and was stunned for a long time. He was 2.5 meters tall, and his muscles seemed to have completely expanded. His black armor shone with a black luster, giving people the impression that he was indestructible. Not only Lin Feng, but Qing and Shui Yun were also stunned. Who is it? Haha, you don't recognize me? The black-armored man takes off his mask, revealing Qin Yu's valiant and handsome face. His eyes flash and disappear. He says proudly, "How is it? My Imperial black armor is not bad, right?" Shui Yun revealed a shocked expression. A top-grade chaos whole mystic treasure, Imperial black armor. As the teacher of Prince Yushu, Shui Yun naturally knew about it. Moreover, In the entire Dongwang Empire, top chaos old dark treasures were also rare. This treasure had always been in Qin Yushu's hands. It was barely compatible with her, and it was difficult for her to unleash its power. However, this time, it was like a pearl buried in the sand, bursting with light. Good for you, Qin Qinger. You always say bad things about me when I'm not around. Prince Yushu grinned and raised his shockingly thick arm. I want to fight with you. Qin Qing's pretty eyes sparkled as she pulled out her gourd-light sword and said, That's exactly what I want. Come, have a taste of my Baiyu Black Armor's power. As Prince Yushu spoke, the black mask fell heavily onto the ground. Like a boulder that could collapse a mountain, it caused everyone's heart to tremble. In an instant, lightning and fire collided. Lin Feng looked at Prince Yushu. For a moment, he did not understand what Prince Yushu was up to. However, as the two fought fiercely, Lin Feng was shocked, and at the same time, he finally understood. What a strong defense. Shui Yun sighed on the side. Lin Feng was fascinated by the battle. It was like a black stone mountain. In the face of Qin Qing's furious attacks, Prince Yushu did not move at all. The black armor on his body not only strengthened his body, but also covered his entire body. There was not a single flaw to be found. Qin Qing's attacks had no effect at all. Prince Yushu was like a rock, blocking all the wind and waves. After a long while, Qin Qing was exhausted. Her pink cheeks blushed. She was ashamed and angry. She said coquettishly, How can you fight like this? You keep getting beaten up, and you don't even fight back. Prince Yushu put away the imperial black armor and shrugged. I can't help it. I can't beat you. His honest words made Qin Qing feel helpless. What a strong defensive treasure. Not only can it block the law attacks, but it can also completely reduce the impact. Lin Feng praised. Although Prince Yushu did not attack, it was obvious that this top-grade chaotic whole dark treasure was special and powerful. Now Qin Qing's battle strength was comparable to a 5-star intermediate saint. Prince Yushu suddenly smiled. In the past 10 years, I have been thinking about it and realized that it is difficult to keep up with your footsteps in a short time. Prince Yushu nodded and said, So, I found a shortcut and played to my advantage. I didn't expect you to be able to play the power of the top-grade, chaotic whole dark treasure, the Imperial Black Armor. Believe in my defense. I can help the team in the future. The progress was fast. Lin Feng thought that Qin Qing's strength had improved the most. He did not expect the surprise to come from Prince Yushu. With such a strong defense, he could be used as a meat shield in group battles or explore secret realms with half the effort. The monarch is really good to you. Shui Yun looked at Prince Yushu with her bright eyes and said softly, Yes. Prince Yushu nodded slightly. Lin Feng understood what Shui Yun meant. The Imperial Black Armor was a defensive treasure. What was the most valuable thing in the eternal myriad world secret realms? A defensive treasure. A defensive treasure that could resist 100% of the black hole's tearing force was what every saint and Saint King wanted. Any saint that could perfectly fit the Imperial Black Armor could pass through the black hole and enter the boundless universe. But don't use the Imperial Black Armor unless it is necessary. Lin Feng said to Prince Yushu seriously. Qin Qing, and Shui Yun were also a little worried. Saint Kings might not be interested in ordinary chaotic whole dark treasures, but a top-grade defensive treasure, the Imperial Black Armor. It was enough to make every Saint King go crazy. I understand. Prince Yushu nodded and said, Don't use it unless it is necessary. But then I will become the weakest again. Prince Yushu curled his lips and said helplessly, No again. Qin Qing's delicate lips moved slightly, and a trace of teasing flashed in her beautiful eyes. You will always be the weakest. Qin Qing, you? Prince Yushu did not know whether to laugh or cry. Suddenly, a burst of laughter caused the atmosphere to become much warmer. Everyone talked for a while and then left Bingling Cliff and went to the second zone. Meanwhile, at the border of the first and second zones, there was a lively scene. Damn it! Where'd he go? Did you find him? A thunderous voice rang out. It was a handsome man with dragon horn scales. At this moment, he had an anxious expression on his face, and was shouting loudly. He was an upper-level saint of the demon god temple. Chapter 1360. Lin Feng and the other three were heading toward the second region. With the experienced Captain Shui Yun around, Lin Feng naturally didn't need to worry about anything. The journey was extremely safe and uneventful. Although there was a huge commotion in the first region 10 years ago, it had already faded. In the minds of the cosmic system states in the first region, Lin Feng and the other three had already entered the second region. As for the saints in the second region, they rarely paid attention to what was happening in the first region. The only thing we need to worry about now is the powerful beings of the Golden Lion sect. Captain Shui Yun said, "If you encounter them, attack them immediately. Don't be merciful." Everyone nodded. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. If their whereabouts were exposed and the powerful beings of the Golden Lion sect notified the upper-level saints, they would be in big trouble. What if we encounter an upper-level saint? Prince Yushu asked. Shui Yun's eyes flashed as she looked at Qin Qing, and then at Lin Feng. Qin Qing was the strongest among the four, but Shui Yun couldn't see through Lin Feng at all. She didn't know how strong he was now. If it's a 1-star or 2-star upper-level saint, we can fight. Qin Qing glanced at Lin Feng and paused. Even if it's a 3-star upper-level saint, the four of us can fight. Shui Yun nodded. Although she had a rough idea of Qin Qing's power, it was more accurate for Qin Qing to say it herself. If there are many opponents, leave the most troublesome one to me. Prince Yushu chuckled as a strange light appeared in his hand. With this powerful chaos hole, profound treasure, desert oasis, and with my imperial black armor, I'll definitely be able to exhaust my opponent. Of course, I usually don't fight, Prince Yushu added with a smile. Everyone laughed as well. Indeed, Prince Yushu would not expose his trump card if he could. Once the imperial black armor was exposed, it would attract more attention than 10 top-level chaotic hole dark treasures. The three of them all looked at Lin Feng. Right now, the only one who had yet to express his stance was Lin Feng. 10 years ago, it was all thanks to Lin Feng that he was able to defeat the second prince's group. His strength was unfathomable. 10 years ago, he was already comparable to a 4-star intermediate saint. What about 10 years later? Everyone was looking forward to it. It was especially so for Qin Qing, who revealed a hint of fighting spirit. I have no problem with that. It's decided then. Lin Feng smiled, but his answer left everyone slightly stunned. Captain Shui Yun hesitated for a moment before nodding. All right, it's decided then. We'll see when the time comes. Anyway, it's rare to see a 4-star upper saint in the second zone. 4-star upper saints were comparable to Saint Kings, and they were basically all in the third zone. In the eternal myriad world's secret territory, the deeper one went, the more treasures one would find, and the better one's chances would be. Reporting, we can't find it. Hall Master Jean, we can't find it here either. There's nothing there either. As the news came in, the handsome man with dragon horns and scales looked more and more terrible. He was the Hall Master of the Demon God Temple, Ao Jean, and he led a group of saints. There were 87 Hall Masters in the Demon God Temple, and only upper saints could take up the position. This was a superpower second only to the 100 Saints Martial Temple, and it was as famous as the Myriad Demons Palace. Almost all of them were Demon Clan experts who walked the path of shape-shifting. Damn it, it escaped so quickly. Ao Jean gritted his teeth, and the scales on his body trembled, revealing a deep wound on his neck. It was obviously a new wound. Should we continue to search, Hall Master Jean? Nonsense. Ao Jean roared angrily, his veins popping out. But it's in the first zone. It's hard to find. The saints looked at each other. The first zone was much larger than the second zone. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack to find it in such a huge area. We have to find it, even if we can't find it. Ao Jean radiated strong light energy, and his dragon horns shone brightly. We finally found a space-swallowing beast in the second zone. In order to catch it, 17 saints of the Demon God Temple died, and we only managed to severely injure it. We can't let it go to waste. Moreover, in addition to the space-swallowing elemental bead, it also has the speed of light law elemental bead. We can't let it escape no matter what. Ao, Jean roared, and the wound on his neck looked even more hideous. In order to catch this space-swallowing beast, even he had suffered serious injuries. The space-swallowing beast in the second zone was very rare, and he couldn't enter the third zone with his strength. He couldn't let go of this opportunity. Yes, Hall Master Jean. They're from the Demon God Temple, Shui Yun said. Yes, Lin Feng and the other two answered. They relaxed their vigilance slightly, and the space trembled slightly. A few lower saints teleported away without any hostility. Under normal circumstances, it was rare for the Dongwang Empire to kill each other. The ancient thousand-world secret dimension was a killing field. The seven empires used all their power here to kill thousands of people. If the empire was riddled with internal strife, how could it fight with the other empires? They seemed to be looking for something. Lin Feng had a vague feeling. Shui Yun's eyes flickered. If I'm not wrong, there's an 80% chance that they're searching for the space-swallowing beast. Space-swallowing beast. Lin Feng and the other two's eyes lit up. Shui Yun had mentioned to them before that the space-swallowing beast was a life form unique to the ancient thousand-world secret dimension. It used the life force of a black hole to form a space heart. It was born with the ability to control space energy and comprehend space laws. It was very powerful. Every space-swallowing beast had a space heart formed by pure space energy. It was called the space-swallowing vital pearl. The space-swallowing vital pearl was an ultimate treasure sought by upper saints and saint kings. By refining the space-swallowing vital pearl, one could comprehend some space laws. This was a heavenly law, the upper level of the law pyramid. The law pyramid was like a pyramid. The higher one went, the rarer and more powerful it was. Moreover, comprehending space laws would help one comprehend lower, middle, and upper laws. In addition to the space-swallowing vital pearl that every space-swallowing beast has, the space-swallowing beast usually nurtures other vital pearls. Shui Yun said, the space-swallowing beast devours the souls of human experts. Many of them are saints. Whether it's an upper saint, middle saint, or lower saint, they have at least comprehended one origin source law and obtained the recognition of the origin sea. After the space-swallowing beast devours them, it's their gain. However, to form the origin source law, it takes a long time to nurture. Lin Feng and the other two nodded. After listening to Shui Yun's explanation, their understanding of the space-swallowing beast deepened. If we refine the space-swallowing vital pearl, no. What will happen if we refine the origin source law? Prince Yushu asked. What do you think? Shui Yun's eyes flashed. Prince Yushu's breathing quickened. Stop dreaming. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Every space-swallowing beast has the strength of an upper saint. Moreover, there are at least 4 stars. Everyone smiled. A 4-star upper saint wasn't someone they could deal with at the moment. Chapter 1361. From the first area to the second area, Lin Feng's group was still a distance away. After all, they could not teleport continuously like saints. Fortunately, it was a peaceful journey. They did not encounter any large-scale tearing force storms, collapsing secret realms, nor did they run into any experts from the Golden Lion sect. As for the experts from the other 6 empires, they did not encounter any of them. The first area is vast. Every empire has its own entry point, so it's hard to run into them. Shui Yun said, but starting from the second area, you will run into them in some special secret realms. In the third area, because the area has shrunk, it's normal to run into them. Usually, the fights between experts from empires happen in the second and third areas. Some even deliberately kill experts from other empires to steal their treasures. So, after entering the second area, besides the Golden Lion sect, we have to be extra careful if we run into experts from other empires. Before entering the second area, Captain Shui Yun reminded them again. Lin Feng's group nodded. The first and second areas were not at the same level of danger. Especially the experts in the second area, they were much more powerful. Most of the deaths in the ancient myriad world's secret realms happened in the second area. It was a killing ground for saints. We're almost there. Prince Yushu looked expectant and sighed. Unfortunately, our luck is average. We did not run into that space-swallowing beast on the way. I really want to see what it looks like. Not only Prince Yushu, but Qin Xing also looked curious. Our luck is not average. It's good luck. Shui Yun rolled her eyes at Prince Yushu. The space-swallowing beast is very murderous. Don't think it's easy to bully. It's not only good at running away, it's even better at hunting. If you get entangled by it and can't deal with it, you will suffer. Don't think about the space-swallowing elemental beads and law elemental beads. These are not things we can get at the moment. Just walk step by step. There are many unexplored secret realms in the second area. Shui Yun's words made Prince Yushu and Qin Xing's eyes burn with desire. Secret realms, places rich in treasures. Lin Feng smiled faintly, feeling somewhat curious. There would be more opportunities after entering the second region. However, he did not ask for too much. Right now, he needed to focus more on cultivation. Soon, Tianho's cultivation will open the fourth aperture, Lin Feng said to himself. Unknowingly, his true dragon clone had been cultivating here for close to 10 years. It was about time for a breakthrough. On the Black Spirit Cliff, in an uninhabited area, on a huge cliff that had no value to be explored, a transparent monster with a strong head appeared in the middle of the faint white fog. Its figure kept flashing, and its nose seemed to be sniffing something. Its figure was quite small, only about 5 meters tall. Suddenly, as if it had sensed something, the transparent monster dove into the white fog. The monster continued to descend like a vigorous cheetah. It seemed to be searching for something. It sniffed with its nose from time to time and teleported from time to time. Occasionally, it would turn into a beam of light and advance at an astonishing speed. Teleportation. The law of light. Upper Saint? No, it was a space-devouring beast. A space-devouring beast that already had the law of light origin bead. In addition to its original spatial energy, it could also use the law of light. Its strength was terrifying. However, at this moment, the space-devouring beast's aura was fluctuating. Its energy was extremely unstable. The space-devouring beast's body was made of pure energy. It was an energy life form. If its energy was depleted, it would die. As long as it had enough energy, it would be immortal. It was injured. Most importantly, this was the first region. Compared to the third and second regions, the spatial energy in the first region was relatively thin. At this moment, Lin Feng's true dragon clone was in the final sprint. After nearly 10 years of continuous cultivation in this place where the energy of the universe was dozens of times greater than the outside world, Lin Feng had finally cultivated the true dragon heart refining path to the extreme. With the true dragon's origin chi as the source, it kept expanding. Now, Tianho's fourth aperture was ready to move. It was like a shaking eggshell that was about to break out. I'm here. Lin Feng sighed softly. As he cultivated the true dragon heart refining path again, the great realm shook violently. Tianho had opened his fourth aperture. There was no trick. He could only cultivate and cultivate. Then, he would use enough power to break through Tianho's cultivation and open a new level. He felt the changes in the great realm sea. It was like a giant whale swallowing and spitting. Tianho's fourth aperture had opened the door to the black hole level. His spiritual sense became extremely clear. He could sense everything in all directions. After opening his fourth aperture, Lin Feng seemed to have become the master of the universe. His state of consciousness was perfect. Unlike other Tianho cultivators, Tianho's strength was in perception. In other words, this was a characteristic of Tianho cultivators. Humans had the strongest perception. They could sense themselves, the outside world, and everything that existed or did not exist. The fourth aperture was an important stage of Tianho cultivation. After opening the fourth aperture, Tianho cultivators would reveal important abilities and greatly increase their strength. For example, Tianho cultivators uniqueness, Tianho cultivators power, and Tianho cultivators willpower. Humans were masters of the heart. Heart cultivation came from humans. The increase in willpower from Tianho cultivators and the perception talent from Tianho cultivators was undoubtedly on display in Lin Feng's body. After opening his fourth aperture, Lin Feng's path to the black hole level was completely smooth. All that was left was the accumulation of energy and the transformation of the great realm sea into a realm ocean. This might be difficult for other martial artists, but Lin Feng had an almost endless supply of universe crystals. What did a mere realm ocean count for? Lin Feng was surprised. His consciousness condensed, his heart force increased, and even the origin star realm increased by a large level. He was pleasantly surprised. Tianho's cultivation bloomed like petals, turning the entire barren spirit cliff into a map. Astonishing perception ability. This was no longer perception. Tianho's cultivation of the fourth aperture was shockingly strong. Lin Feng was already very satisfied with the increase in willpower and heart force, but he didn't expect that the most powerful aspect of Tianho's cultivation was the astonishing perception ability. He could even clearly sense every creature and white mist on Barren Spirit Cliff. Isn't this too amazing? Lin Feng was amazed. While still immersed in this powerful perception, Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up when a strange existence appeared in his perception range. That was Chapter 1362. It was a transparent monster. At this moment, Lin Feng realized that he could clearly see it. It was about 5 meters tall and looked like a human. It was moving rapidly as if it was looking for something. Spatial energy. It's a space-devouring beast. Lin Feng was shocked and in disbelief. He didn't expect to encounter a space-devouring beast here. This was the first region. There were very few space-devouring beasts in the second region. Why would they come to the first region? Space-devouring beasts needed spatial energy, so they would only stay in places with a lot of spatial energy. The third and fourth regions were the home of space-devouring beasts. The first region? It was difficult for space-devouring beasts to maintain their spatial energy consumption. It seems to be injured. Lin Feng's awakened sensory ability was extremely outstanding. Realm Force cultivators were extremely rare in the Milky Way, and the comprehension of heaven-devouring cultivators had shackled countless experts. Those who could open the fourth aperture of heaven-devouring cultivators were few and far between, and those who could cultivate by themselves were even rarer. Lin Feng was the only one who had true dragon saint power and a true dragon essence. Its energy is fluctuating between strong and weak, and its strength is greatly reduced. Lin Feng stood up instantly, his eyes flashing. Normal space-devouring beasts had the strength of an upper-level saint, but they might not be injured. Unlike human experts, an upper-level saint's foundation would still be there no matter how heavily injured they were. However, space-devouring beasts were energy bodies, and energy determined their strength. If they were heavily injured, their strength would drop to that of a mid-level saint or even a low-level saint. It's looking for something. Could it be that there's a secret in Yingling Cliff? Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. Although Yingling Cliff had already been explored, that was by humans. Space-devouring beasts were the owners of this place. Who knew their home better than the owner? Let's go take a look. Lin Feng immediately left the cave. Lin Feng was shocked. After entering the white fog, he followed the direction of his senses. The path of the space-devouring beast appeared in his mind. He had actually entered a new world. It was also white fog, but his senses were completely different. Yes, it's the origin of the white fog. Lin Feng quickly understood. Previously, he had thought about where this strange white mist came from. Sister Yun had said that it existed naturally. Even other experts had tried to find its source, but to no avail. They didn't know that there was a place within the white fog that they couldn't see. It's a spatial array. Lin Feng thought to himself. With the Milky Way warriors' attainments in space, they would not be able to decipher it. Even he himself would not be able to do so. The space-swallowing beast was able to enter purely because of its instincts, its ability to sense space. Formless, and colorless spatial formations existed all the time. Everything in the eternal myriad world's secret realm was devoured by the Milky Way super black hole. It came from the vast universe and had endless mysteries. Following the Void Devourer to this unique place, Lin Feng was greatly shocked. Shangri-La, what a rich energy, Lin Feng muttered in shock. The cosmic energy here was more than 10,000 times more than the energy in the first region. It was simply incomparable. Even the fourth region in the deepest part of the Milky Way super black hole was probably less than 10%. The true energy of a universe. Lin Feng instantly understood. This piece of land was completely sealed by the spatial formation, so the cosmic energy here did not disappear. It was as if it was sealed in a bottle. No wonder the Void Devourer came here. My luck is not bad. Lin Feng's perception quickly covered the entire area. The area here was not big, only 1/10 the size of Earth. It was considered small compared to a planet. The area he sensed did not have any special treasure auras, but it was enough. Just the great cosmos energy itself was already a top-notch treasure. Cultivating here was 10,000 times more than outside. One had to know that the energy in the eternal myriad world's secret realm was dozens or even hundreds of times more than outside. I must kill that Void Devourer. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with battle intent. A mountain could not accommodate two tigers. The Void Devourer had always been bloodthirsty. If it discovered him, it would definitely attack. The energy here was so abundant that the Void Devourer could quickly recover its strength. It would be difficult to deal with it then. But now, there is at least a 50% chance. Lin Feng acted immediately. He held the backup astral vibrator battle saber in his hand. Lightning elements gathered crazily. He sensed the energy in this area very quickly. He was overjoyed. Even his strength had increased by a level. More than 70%. Lin Feng was very confident. He quickly rushed toward the Void Devourer. Speed was crucial in war. It was the same for him now. The longer he delayed, the more strength the Void Devourer would recover, and the lower his chances of winning. His only worry was that with the Void Devourer's perception, he would definitely be discovered before he got close. Once it used spatial teleportation, it would be very difficult to catch up with it. It's right in front. Lin Feng found the Void Devourer. At the same time, the Void Devourer, which was absorbing energy to recover, also sensed danger. It looked back vigilantly and suddenly turned around. Its transparent eyes flashed. However, this time, it did not run away. The Void Devourer was not stupid. Previously, when it was chased by a bunch of saints, it would definitely run away. Plus, its strength was severely damaged. If it fought head-on, it would definitely die. But now, it only had one opponent. It sensed its surroundings vigilantly and found that Lin Feng was alone. The Void Devourer roared and charged toward Lin Feng. Lin Feng's strength was one level lower than a saint. The Void Devourer was indeed very smart to judge the opponent's strength by their chi. But this time, it was too smart for its own good. Lin Feng was completely different. Although he only had the strength of a cosmic system state, Lin Feng's combat power was comparable to an upper-level saint. He swung his astral vibrator battle saber. Level 11 Saber Heart, coupled with a trace of saber, heavenly Tao, had the power of a black hole. The ferocious image of a lightning unicorn appeared. As Lin Feng swung his battle saber, Lin Feng's combat power suddenly increased. Roar! The Void Devourer did not gain the upper hand at all. Its expression changed drastically, and it wanted to escape. The power of the law of light appeared on its body, and its escape speed was extremely fast. But a Tai Chi pattern condensed under its feet and spun rapidly, forcibly shackling it within the area. On the other half of the Tai Chi pattern, Lin Feng swung his saber again with boundless killing intent. The newly opened fourth aperture of Heavenly Ho cultivation also showed its power. Facing the greatly weakened Void Devourer, Lin Feng went all out. He had already seen the shiny Void Devourer origin bead and the Law of Light origin bead inside the Void Devourer's body. As long as he could kill it, these treasures which were comparable to top-grade Chaos Profound treasures, would be his. Dying. Lin Feng's battle intent surged as he attacked continuously. Soon, the already heavily injured Void Devourer was killed.